I will give you a show like you have never, ever seen before. Why? Because I can.
This is the one and only Mike Hartenbauer. You guys are listening to Sit Down Marks podcast with DB, Primo, and AJ.
What's going on, everybody? It's the Dirty Bird. Welcome to the Sit Down Marks podcast, episode number 41. What's going on, boys? Happy December.
Hello, happy December. Welcome back. We were actually here last Wednesday on December 2, but we can celebrate December now.
That's right. Yes, we can.
Episode 41. We've come a long way, and how about it, AJ?
I wasn't chewing. I was all done. I promise. Oh yeah, December. It's been a great month so far. I love December. It's the only time cold weather is acceptable is in December, and I'm still a nerd for Christmas.
It's true. Same.
I'm a nerd. Oh, also, I'm a December baby, so get those presents ready.
That's right.
For,
when was the AJ blessed?
December 18th. Same.
18th.
Same as Stone Cold Steve.
I know I just said
Austin.
I had a terrible memory, but I remembered that.
Let me introduce these two wonderful gentlemen talking to you right here from the land of the rattlesnake, Mr. Team Extreme himself, editor and the producer of this very, very podcast, Primo. What's going on, my man?
Oh, not a lot. Just over here chilling where I live while you guys are out there having bogus weekends together. But you guys, I heard all about your adventures this weekend. You guys did me proud. So,
I mean, it was okay. It was okay.
Good work.
You didn't miss much.
Yeah, we didn't do anything cool like call a match or we didn't do anything cool like call a match or set up a ring.
Didn't decide that any ties have gumption or anything.
No.
That tie had gumption.
Man, after this weekend, I'm a big fan of Gage Bright, if I wasn't before, man, but I'm a big fan of Gage. So let me introduce here to you as well the guy I spent all freaking weekend with. This man right here, the only babyface left on the show, straight out of your mama's kitchen, the master of the forearm chart, although we didn't have to see it this weekend. Everything was held in decorum, I guess.
I didn't have to break it out.
You didn't have to break it out because Trevor Outlaw didn't show.
No, he did not. Had he showed, he would have gotten the old.
Assistant editor and producer, Mr. Rampage. Jay, what's going on, my man?
Oh, hi, ya Marks. What's going on?
Did you enjoy yourself this weekend, brother, being a wrestling roadie?
So, Primo, don't listen to this because I don't want you to get mad. It was so cool all weekend long. Iron Spirit was amazing. Zawa was amazing. We got to do different things at both shows, and I can't speak highly enough about what they let us do. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was great, man. It was great for me too because I haven't did it since the '90s with my dad. So it was a lot of, I was talking to AJ, the whole weekend, how things were starting to come back to me, about, especially putting up the ring because it had been a very long time since I'd done that. Let's say that since the mid '90s, and so things were coming back to me. I kind of remembered why we did certain things, and that kind of stuff. And it was, it was great, man. I ran the ropes. How cool is that? I ran the ropes. AJ got to sweep out the ring, so that's probably the highlight this weekend for Iron Spirit Pro. But we had a blast. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Did you have a regular kitchen broom, or did you have a shop broom?
We had a janitor broom.
A janitor broom.
Yeah, you can't use shop broom on the mat.
Also, so it's like the one with the little tentacles.
That's what you do.
You need a bristle, some sort of bristle. No floppy moppy.
I also figured out that the best way for me to get in the ring is go under the second rope, which I didn't get to go over the second rope because I'm 11 apparently.
Well, it'd been a long time since I got in the ring too. So I got in the ring the first time. and then nearly wrecked myself. And then so I remembered exactly how to get in the ring the next time, how I used to get in it. So that muscle memory came back as well.
Sure you just stepped over it like Great Khali.
No, that would be cool if I could do that. That would probably be cool. Yeah.
I wanted to jump it, but I wasn't wearing shoes.
I got in the ring like Sin Cara. I mean,
He's
seen it.
So you botched your entrance.
No botching at all. It was
it was
butter.
Oh yeah. Like that's how we tested the.
Did you
cameras.
run and jump out like Ricochet?
No,
I shall never tell my secrets. Ha ha ha. But we'll talk about that later. Yeah, we had a great time. Thank again to Logan, and we'll talk about that more as well. And Azawa, let's get on with the show here. I want to thank Coastland Apparel for sponsoring the show today. Go to Coastland Apparel, use promo code BIRDTV for 15% off your order. They're getting rid of a lot of their year-end stuff, bringing in some new stuff, running a bunch of deals. Go get that Christmas shopping done at coastlandapparel.com. Use promo code BIRDTV. And I want to thank everyone listening right now on all the major platforms. Right now is iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Prime Music, Audible, and SportzWire online radio Fridays at 6:15 Eastern Time, right before the Thomas Bryce Show, and throughout the week. If you like the pod, please tell a friend. Leave us a great 5-star review on whatever platform you listen from, and we appreciate you guys listening. So, all right, boys, 52 days away from the Royal Rumble.
Oh, where did our countdown go? Where did it go?
AJ, he don't have it up. By the way, this is our second episode live right now on YouTube. Check us out. Go search the Sit Down Marks podcast, and you'll find us there. Give us a follow. Check us out every Wednesday, usually 5:30, 6, 7 o'clock. So,
but you know what I did notice?
What did you notice?
What?
That freaking AJ has a little Kurt Angle over him.
You're just now noticing that? It was there last week, too.
It was there last week.
Fucking awesome.
I wasn't paying attention.
And I told you guys about that off air.
I know.
Before.
He also doesn't listen or read.
Man.
That's my wife.
Yeah. It's all right.
Hello, Kurt Angle. He was great. We
so 52 days away before we're in St. Louis.
Woo!
And I tell you what, man. We are the month of December's rolled around, and the smell of ECW is in the air, and we're covering
grimy
ECW
and stinky
pay-per-views. Yeah. So one guy I remember showing up at a certain Royal Rumble to wrestle one Kurt Angle that we just mentioned in his WWE, maybe even WWF then pay-per-view, since we're talking about ECW. One of my all-time ECW favorites today, the pop of the pod, is Taz.
I was hoping you would have the little heartbeat thing.
Yeah, me too. It's Taz. There's like a bunch of little Tazes walking out right now.
Taz was my guy in ECW, man. I'm gonna talk about this later, but the only reason I even did any kind of tape trading was because of Taz, because I heard about him long before that. Yeah, well, I'm gonna let you guys know all about it, man, because when we talk about ECW barely legal in 1997, man, that was not long after that it kind of exploded, and I was long seeing ECW tapes of Taz beating up guys in the parking lot before that. So this is going to be a cool one. So Primo, talk to us, man. This day in wrestling history and the birthdays.
Woo! This day in wrestling history, December 8th. That's today for all you marks out there.
Oh, you sound so sad. You're like
1997. I know, I'm over it, AJ. I'm already ready to win my title back in a month or so.
52 days.
Raw is War, 1997. Raw is War from Portland, Maine.
Ooh.
The Rock defeated Stone Cold Steve Austin via forfeit to win the WWF Intercontinental Championship, citing that he had nothing to prove by beating him again because he had beaten him to retain the title the previous night at Degeneration X in Your House.
Chop, 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 chop.
Austin decided to forfeit the championship to The Rock without even a fight because he had nothing to prove. He then stuns The Rock and then repossesses the belt only to throw it in a river in New Hampshire the next night.
I love those spots,
I didn't
man.
know that.
I love the river spots, didn't y'all?
Following,
I don't remember that at all.
He was like, he just threw it. So he used to do that. They threw this one, and then The Rock threw the smoking skull belt.
Yep.
And then they threw Kurt Angle's medals.
Who threw Rey Mysterio into the river? Didn't he have like a river match?
Entire human?
Yeah, they had like a who goes in the river match first. I think it was Rey Mysterio went in.
I remember John Cena threw Edge into the Long Island Sound.
There you go. That's the one because that thing is dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So following the forfeit of this belt, Austin formally began his pursuit of the WWF Championship, which he would win only 4 short months later at WrestleMania 14.
Oh.
So pretty
The
cool.
pinnacle of WrestleMania is 14.
That is cool.
So
Nice.
he won his first WWF Championship after he just like gave away his IC belt.
Yeah, just punch it.
Well,
Right, yeah.
No, he literally gave it away. He threw it away.
Yeah. I love those spots, man. Those were good. Like
Yeah.
that was a big part of the Rock and like that was a big angle of Rock and Stone Cold storylines. Man, I love that, man.
So move forward in 2008, WWE revives the Slammy Awards. This would be the first presentation of the Slammy Awards since 1997.
It's the reason why it was gone for 21
Let's
years.
talk about
Yes.
some of the categories and winners here.
Did you guys like the Slammies?
Nope, hated them.
They're all right.
Yeah.
I hated the fact they used it as a filler for an actual live episode.
Yeah, they didn't put nothing on it. They put no
Yeah.
importance on it. It was kind of like, okay, here's the Slammies.
So,
Yeah,
but
here's
so
things.
for 2008, here are the categories and winners that we got. Superstar of the Year, Chris Jericho. Match
one's
of
okay.
the Year, Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 24.
Of
Okay,
course.
is that the retirement match?
Yep,
Yep.
Okay.
that's the only time they wrestled at WrestleMania. Yeah,
I love you, Rick.
Okay.
Sweet chin
I'm
music.
I'm sorry.
yeah. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Diva of the Year, Beth Phoenix.
Aw.
Would you guys
We're
want to
getting
dance?
into
The
that.
OMG moment of
I know I'm sexy.
There you go.
I've got the looks. And the drives the girls are wild. Got the
Okay, as you were.
Okay, so OMG moment of the year.
That's so good.
CM Punk's Money in the Bank cash in win on the June 30th edition of Raw that year. Couple of the year,
CM Punk.
Edge and Eddie Guerrero. Disregard Edge and Vicky Guerrero.
Those are different things.
They are.
Apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tag team of the year, Morrison and Miz.
It's okay.
The
Whoa.
finishing maneuver of the year, Evan Bourne's shooting star press.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It was a beauty.
This is weird. The like Ron Simmons
Sure.
moment of the year. The Great Khali hosts the Kiss Cam.
This is why the Slammies are stupid.
Yes. The only reason anybody remembers them is because Owen Hart carried them around for like a year or
Yes.
two. You know what I mean? That's the only reason we know.
The breakout superstar of the year, Vladimir Kozlov.
Oh my God. Oh my
Sure.
God. What do you mean break out? He never talked.
No.
And then the
break out.
best impersonation was Charlie. And first of all, they just make, because there's another one, Slammy Awards that we're not even going to go through.
Yeah.
But I looked at it, and they just make up categories because there weren't even the same categories.
No, year by year? No.
Yeah, so this last
Invent
one's totally
them.
made up. It's best impersonation, which was Charlie Haas as the Glamour Haas.
So stupid.
The Glamour House.
The Glamour Haas.
Oh my God.
So that's this day of wrestling history. On to the birthdays. I got 3 for specifically today. I didn't go through the whole week.
Nope. Let's hear him.
1986. Enzo Amore.
Nah, it's not. his
Skywalker,
birthday.
Smack Talker.
Enzo and Cass.
How you doing?
Enzo and Cass.
You can't teach that.
Nope.
1982.
I'm
Jimmy Rave.
sandbagging. I'm sandbagging all of it.
Jimmy Rave, 1982.
Okay.
Nice.
1968, Michael Cole.
Michael Cole.
All the coal miners out there.
Friday night, Michael.
And that
Where's my
is
stupid brother? He should.
this day in wrestling history.
Michael.
December 8th edition.
Michael.
Very well. Very well. Pretty good ones in there, though. I like it. Talk to me, AJ. What's going on in headlines, my friend? And what shitty movie did you watch this week?
In the news, let's see
Whose
what
game is it?
AJ's game, baby. 18. Primo, how many days is it?
Just say I'm the.
I no sell you when you do this.
Yes.
17 days as your.
Sure.
Is that right?
Sure.
Is that right? 17?
Close enough.
Come on, Primo.
Last week it was 10. Add 7.
Ask
I
Siri.
hired you as
How many
my valet
days
for a
since
reason
the Survivor
You hired me
Series?
as your valet.
that I just decided right now.
We do have a headline, and it has nothing to do with anything that you wrote down. So,
Is it that you're my new valet?
maybe. 'Cause it did come. This idea did come from your brain, so I'm giving you credit.
Let's hear it.
So,
But first, I need you to respect this guy right here. Wait, hold on. Let me. Okay, he's fine now. He's fine. Look, there he is.
he's
Okay.
he's still a part of me.
Continue.
He still has the little
Continue.
belt.
Yeah, I'm leaving it on there just to look at this. Look at that. Still wearing it.
The official name of my wrestling promotion.
Oh, we graduated.
okay.
Okay.
I was
What is
listening to the pod back this past week, and I actually got it straight from the champ's mouth.
Hmm?
My wrestling promotion's name is the SGWP, which stands for Stupid Generic Wrestling Promotion.
Stupid generic wrestling promotion. Yeah, that sounds totally like something AJ would say for sure.
It is. I remember saying it.
Yeah. What's the headlines, AJ?
That's awesome. Okay, well, we're going to start with a happy one. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Everyone's favorite.
Oh!
I hated that one time when Gorilla Monsoon was like, listen to the yo's. It's like, it's not yo, you
Yos.
old buffoon. It's ho. He's cancer-free. He's been battling prostate cancer
I saw that.
Yeah.
for a couple of years, and he is good to go. Cancer-free, clean bill of health. Fantastic.
Love that. Hell
Um,
yeah.
On to some not-so-happy news. Apparently, we now know the main event for WrestleMania this year. Do you guys want to guess what it is? Want to guess?
Rock and Roman. Of course.
I said Brock and Roman.
Oh, Brock, yes. Not Rock and Roman. Brock and Roman. For the third time in 6 years, I think.
Yay.
Way to ruin Roman Reigns. You know,
What'd you say? You can't say that.
If Roman's if Roman's the champ,
Brock's going to take it from him.
Brock's gonna take it.
Yeah. So you do this awesome job of building up one of the best heel characters in years and years and years, just waiting for some new baby face to come and get all
Doesn't
that
that
heat.
tell you that he's not going to win at day one?
Yep,
Right.
Absolutely.
Yes,
it does.
absolutely does. Yeah.
So there's that as well.
Because I mean, you're gonna book Roman going over at Mania like he always does, just to say he's still
I hope
strong.
he does.
I mean, it kind of in
God, I
a way
hope he
because it
does.
keeps the bloodline thing going if he wins. You know what I mean? So
Plus, like, can you imagine the disappointment of, again, building up Roman as this unstoppable, amazing heel just to have fucking Brock Lesnar, who I like now, by the way, fucking Brock Lesnar take
Also
all
like-
that heat.
Right.
Oh
Like,
man, I loved him on SmackDown this past week. Who's
It-
good?
he
oh
was
man, he's
good.
great. He's
See,
great
he is.
talking, ain't he? He's great
But-
talking.
I don't want him anywhere near the belt. Like, I don't want him to take Roman. If he wants to beat Big E, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, I love Big E, but if he wants to beat Big E, that's fine. If you want to put a belt on him, there you go. But don't take all that heat that Roman has been building for almost 2 years now. Also, it's like a couple of days after day one that he's going to break Brock's record for the longest reign of all time. So yeah, it's not. What's the point of watching day one? Anyways, got a couple of tweets to talk about. First of all, there's my boy Shinsuke Nakamura, who tweeted and then almost immediately
that.
deleted. It was like,
Oh, really?
See you around, my friend, or something like that.
I miss you, my friends.
Yes. So there's speculation that it could be towards, Kyle O'Reilly and Johnny Gargano.
See you around, my friends. See you around.
Yeah, see you around, my friends. Or it could be Shinsuke wanting to leave, although he's still under contract for a while.
Yeah, the speculation was Kyle O'Reilly and Johnny
Gargano.
Yeah.
Whose contracts are now completely up. After War Games went off, the air, I guess, Johnny Gargano was basically like saying his goodbyes and he was really teary-eyed and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think of that? Do you think Johnny Gargano, Kyle O'Reilly, think they're gone?
Well, on NXT, we'll get to that. That's part of on NXT, actually, last night's episode.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get to. I mean, it's all over. It's all over everything.
He kind of gives a farewell speech, and then Kyle O'Reilly. It was talked about. It could have been his last match. They just didn't make as big of a deal about it.
Just like quick notes. I feel like it felt like Johnny was gonna just not wrestle for a while, and it felt like Kyle was probably saying goodbye, going to wrestle somewhere else. Is the way I feel.
Everybody's doing hashtag Red Dragon.
Yeah. Well, we see, like I said, he was already coming out to Red Dragon's music. Bobby Fish was.
Yes, he was.
Man, I think AJ reads the same website I do.
I got this. Well, I got the. Actually, I don't know where I got the.
I mean, it's a good thing because I know exactly what you're talking about.
Up next, okay.
Give the website credit since you've mentioned it.
Sports Circle. This is
it's a forum. They don't get credit.
Yeah, it's a forum.
They find the stuff just like we do.
However, the WrestleMania main event was reported by Dave Meltzer, who I get a lot of news from Dave Meltzer too.
You get a lot of nudes
from
we Dave Meltzer.
Yes, I got the most recent one was him
never mind.
Sporting a flowing Scott Steiner mullet. It was great. From like 1987. Anyways, last thing, Jack Evans is apparently being extorted by some police in Mexico City.
He said this is not a joke.
Good old social media.
He's like, this is a real thing.
They find drugs. It's not mine.
He's like, please help me.
It's basically what he said.
Everybody's just laughing at him. He's like, no, I'm serious.
No.
What happened with this? Does anybody know yet? Do we know?
I have no clue. I just know that he got detained for something.
Who knows what?
So far, the cops have gotten $300 out of him.
Man.
And he tweeted that if there are drug charges that are brought against him in Mexico City, now you know why. So yeah, he's down there, like apparently doing things.
Wow.
And that is what I have for news and notes and stuff. Now,
okay,
little surprise. I'm going to give you my movie. Now, I did watch a movie for AJ's movie of the week, but I'm going to save it for next week.
AJ's movie of the week.
This week, I actually watched a good one, which bored me because now I don't have much to say about it. I watched Fighting with Your Family.
I enjoyed that.
It was. I've never seen it before, and it was really good. Like, that's the one, of course, where, it's about...
Hey, kid.
Yeah, Paige here. And about how she came from this wrestling family, and Paige here. It gets better every time.
Paige here.
Paige here. Like, pretty soon it's just going to be like, Paige here. But it was really good. And Florence Pugh, is that how you pronounce her name? Florence Pugh? She played Paige in the movie. She was in Midsommar. How do you say her name?
I don't know. You got me. I don't. Y'all are the movie nerds.
We're gonna go with Pugh.
I might say yes.
Sure.
Well, anyways, this is like before she was in Midsommar, and no. So Florence Pugh. She did a really good job. Like, it was a really good movie. And then the
that one got Primo.
Yeah, it did.
The Rock, of course, produced it, and he has a little brief, like a little cameo in it, and it's really good. So, I'm just gonna tell you right now, my movie next week, if you all want to watch as well, is Santa Sleigh starring Bill Goldberg. That is what I'm going to be watching.
I've seen it like a billion times, so it's good.
Thank God. We're going to be talking about it for our
Christmas episode. I think I've actually watched that one before. That might be one you might can rope me back into watching.
Oh, it's so good. I love it so much.
All right, let's head to
the evil Santa.
He's a demon Santa.
Good
The
stuff.
best.
Good stuff. Let's head to the fan shout out. You can DM us on Twitter at SitDownMarks and let us know where and when you listen to the podcast, and we will shout you out on the pod. You can message Sit Down Marks. You can message Primo, AJ, Dirty Bird, any one of us. But today's shout out I want to give to the fans of Sterling who told us that they listened to the pod last week with Hartenbauer on it, who is the current Zawa Live champion. And we were there this past Saturday night in Sterling. So shout out to those fans who told us they listened to the pod and they loved it and liked the way that we delivered the message of wrestling, so to speak. And so I showered them all with stickers and gifts courtesy of the Sit Down Marks podcast. I mean, 'tis the season, right? But shout out to the Sterling folk, man, there.
Can I talk about them for 1 second?
Absolutely.
They were so awesome. Like
They
they
were
were
amazing.
like we were making like in the intermissions and stuff. Like they would come up to talk to us, and they were interesting, and like you could tell they really, really loved their hometown promotion, and it was just so cool. Like listening to all their stories, and so they were. I cannot say good enough things about the Sterling fans. They were fantastic, and I gave one little kid like 6 stickers. And his dad was like, "Okay, that's enough stickers." I'm like, "Okay, one more." And then,
Understandable.
Yeah, they all treated us nice. We'll talk about that
They
later.
did. They
but
were amazing.
They were really
Those
cool.
of you that welcomed my 2 guys here, thank you for having them on, and thank you for treating them well. And maybe I'll see you on down the road. You get to see Primo as well.
You're goddamn right. You're gonna see him down the road, you some bitch.
That's right. We'll talk about that later. Let's get to the show today. We're going to talk about everything that happened this weekend at Iron Spirit Pro and Zawa. We're going to kick off our ECW month as we're going to be talking about 1997, Barely Legal, their very first pay-per-view for ECW. So we're going to be talking about that one. And then later on in the show, Rabbi Jeremy Fine joins us to talk about Creation, the second wrestling debut show coming up this Sunday in Northbrook, Illinois. He was really cool to talk to, and he is the owner and promoter of A Second Wrestling. Second, like the word of the number, but the S is replaced with a 2. If you're watching right now on YouTube, I got the card up with that beautiful belt that they are going to have a tournament for there. So we'll be talking later, and we'll be bringing that interview to you with Rabbi Jeremy Fine. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. Primo, bring us in, man. Tell the masses where they can get that Marks merch right before it's going to be too late to get it here by Christmas, man. So let the folks know where to get it for their shopping.
That's right. Marks, go ahead and get in here real close.
For their shopping.
Shopping.
Right.
For the Marks merch, you can get it at
Dramatic
tpublic.com//sit-down-marks. Now, this could be your last chance to stun Christmas. You order this week, you might still get it before Christmas. You might have one day to wear it, and it'll be special for that one whole day. So, you go buy a Stun Christmas t-shirt, or you can go and we have a large variety of designs. You can make them into t-shirts, face masks, if you wear those, all kinds of hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, baby clothes.
Yeah, they're all like 30 and 40% off right
notebooks, which I got to get my hands on some of those.
now. They do.
So go visit our website. That's tpublic.com/stores/sit-down-marks. That's tpublic.com/STORES/SITDOWNMARKS.
That's right. And anybody that messages us on social media with any kind of Marks merch, a mug, anything that Primo just rattled off there, if you get some merch, show us on social media what you got, and we will immediately send you out some more free merch. We got some stickers for you that we'll send out. So if you get that Marks merch, man, let us know.
This is Levi Cooper.
Hey, this is Buck Nasty, Bucky Collins.
This is Big B.
What's up, bozos? This is Trevor Outlaw, and you're listening.
And you're listening to the Sit Down Marks.
Sit Down Marks.
Sit Down Marks.
And you're listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast with DB, Primo, and AJ.
Let's get to the show here today, boys. Let's start off with the weekly recap, I'm going to let you guys know what's going on in the independent scene for the weekend of December the 10th. Not a whole lot going on because there's a shit ton going on next weekend. There's a lot of shows next weekend, a lot of Christmas shows next week. But this week, a couple notes I wanted to let you know here as MLW Fusion, the weekly show on YouTube, is on tonight. So go check that out. Follow Major League Wrestling. Check out our boy Big Beef on that show. Also, coming up this weekend, AJ, what's your favorite town in Maine?
Yarmouth.
You know it. Limitless Wrestling is back. The Price You Pay is the name of the card there this Friday night, the 10th of December. Showing up there in Yarmouth, Maine is going to be Chris Day, Matt Taven, Shane Mercer, and your boy, the Dirty Dango, all scheduled to be there. That's going to be a pretty good card. Lots of shows next weekend, like I said, but wanted to one last note here, guys. The NWA, they just had Hard Times 2. There was a pay-per-view last weekend. There was no title changes, but I did want to let you guys know that the NWA is doing a qualifying tournament for. They are bringing back the NWA Junior Heavyweight title, and Austin Aries and Homicide have advanced in the tournament so far.
Austin Aries, huh?
Yeah,
weird.
Yeah. Pretty cool there, huh?
That's very cool.
Wow. Yeah.
Austin Aries is not a junior. Like, what are they doing?
I don't know.
Do they mean like junior as in stature or junior as in age?
It used to be juniors in stature in the old days. I don't know how they're going to play it now. You know, it might just be, they could put it on Big Show. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's a junior, but back in the old days, it was like smaller guys. You know what I mean? They couldn't be like the.
He is the greatest man that ever lived.
Yeah, he is. He is.
Wait, what?
So, the greatest man ever lived, Austin Aries. You knew that. Of course.
I did know that, yes. Or Austin Star, if you want to get fancy about it.
What you do know, AJ, is what happened in AEW last week. So what happened on Dynamite and Rampage there, brother?
Well, brother. There are a few things I want to talk about. First of which is the Winter is Coming pay-per-view. Bryan Danielson is set to take on Hangman Adam Page. Is this too goddamn soon?
That's my first note too, man. That's ironic. Yeah, I was the same thing. Too early to change the title.
Because I think they're going to change the title. And Page hasn't even defended it yet. At least I don't think. And I can see him retaining, but I also can see him not retaining at the same time.
Yeah.
Especially the way Bryan Danielson's been portrayed and how awesome he's been. He faced Alan Angels this week, and he calls the crowd fickle, which I love. And he won with a knee bar after getting mad during the match and then beating the shit out of Angel's face. I sorry, I got distracted. I don't know. I think it's too soon. Primo, what do you think?
I also agree that it's too soon. I agree. I think that but my stance on it the whole time is that Bryan Danielson shouldn't even be pursuing the championship.
It seems a little early.
He should still be waiting for.
I said it was early, like when he came to the company.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask you guys that too, because if it wasn't for this story of going through the Dark Order, I wouldn't think he's going to win it, but I feel like he's going to because of this Dark Order story.
Yeah, he's just.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Unless he wants.
I hope not. I hope not, because I don't want him to transition that quick. Okay, you know what I mean. But
I know.
At least
he's
make
going to be a transitional champion.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah, but at least let him make it to the next pay-per-views. I know, right? Yeah. Nope.
No.
I just don't think, like I said, I think it sets a bad precedent to have somebody just ride on in and get right into the championship picture and win the championship.
It's Bryan Danielson.
I don't care who it is.
Yeah, they should have to get.
I wouldn't have wanted him to do it with CM Punk either. I don't want him to do it with anybody. There's people that have been in the company since its inception.
Oh, hey.
So who do you think should be in that spot that Bryan Danielson's in right now? Like MJF? Do you think MJF? I do think MJF should probably be in a title feud.
Put it this way, if my personal thinking, if they're going to put it on somebody, if they're going to put it on Brian, then it's the right guy to put it on. You know what I mean? Like then they got him in the right position. If they're not putting it on him, then why is he not wrestling like, Evil Uno or something? I mean, I don't know. I mean, not Evil Uno, but like, not like such a higher tier guy. Like we're just getting this thing started with him,
Luchasaurus or Lee Moriarty, which CM Punk wrestled.
Yeah.
I think a good one. You know what I think a good one would be to chase the championship right now would be Miro.
Yes, I would love that.
Even though he wasn't there since the inception, but he's been there long enough. He's had a mid-card title run.
Yes, and he's kind of proven himself within the company. Oh, speaking of like the people who just got there and the people who've been there, Adam Cole was talking about that, and I can't remember where this was from, but he's like, there's no, oh, you're new, you go sit over there mentality. He's like, I guess everyone backstage is like, we're all like just one team. There's no kind of like locker room politics like there were in WWE and stuff.
Yeah, like you don't have to carry my bags kind of deal.
I just think that in a company that started with the whole, when they started, and even now they still talk about the wins and losses matter.
Yeah,
they're so important. And, people come in and they have.
That's a good point.
Just like 5 or 6 wins under the belt because they've only been with the company for 6 months.
True.
This is true. True. Okay, I see. Moving on. CM Punk versus Lee Moriarty. There's one, of course. CM Punk hits the GTS for the win. There was one good line from MJF, who was on commentary. By the way, they were having a rotating commentary because JR is out dealing with his melanoma, which is very sad. Please get well soon. But MJF says CM Punk this entire time has just been trying to get into Britt Baker's pants, which I thought was hilarious. So then, what else is worth noting?
Why would he do that?
Moriarty.
He's married to AJ Lee.
Exactly. He's married to AJ Lee.
Yeah.
Which it's funny. Like, didn't AJ date Jay Lethal before CM Punk? I think. They used to.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, and then you got Colt Cabana and CM Punk there together. So, man, these guys are putting a lot to the side for business here. But I love it.
A little bit.
I love it. I want to say too, Lee Moriarty, man, like he dominated that match, but like, man, his stuff missed so much in this match.
Yes,
like
it did.
Like it was missing by a mile, and his cells were.
Man, we don't want to talk about missing. I just watched Barely Legal '97.
Yes, that's yeah.
We'll get to the botch fest. That
Lee
botch
is
fest.
Awesome. So I was glad to see him get a
little rub. I think he was super nervous. He was fighting one of his heroes.
Of course, yeah.
So Wardlow, blah blah blah. I kept calling Pac Patch, which made me giggle to myself.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a patch.
Yeah, he's got an eye patch. He's IPAC.
I like
so
that.
then we have Sting in the ring, which Sting doesn't wrestle often. And when he does, I swear he's he's portrayed as like this god figure, and he's like Raiden for Mortal Kombat and AEW. That's how I picture Sting. And he's still awesome. Billy Gunn, he looked pretty good. Fucking Billy Gunn.
Are you talking about the match?
Man don't age.
Yes, I'm talking about the match.
Okay, you just gonna skip over the part that him and Darby Allin had matching face paint?
No, I was gonna get to that, and it was awesome.
That was the coolest part.
What was it? Like I kept
comparing. No, I'm just messing with you. It was super cool. It was just it looked like a mixture of their face paints.
I thought I kept getting a smack. Have you guys seen The Exorcist?
Yes, of course.
So when like the brief flashes of the like super scary face, and it's in like the black and white. Like that's what I kept thinking of when I was looking at their face paints, and I was like, oh, okay, that's fucking cool.
Kind of looked like a mix of Darby Allin mixed with Sting with like shades of Vampiro.
Yeah. On the lips, the lips was like Vampiro.
Yeah, and like the dark right here.
It was definitely cool though.
It was.
But yeah, Sting of course gets the win.
Darby just looks like a little mini him.
He does. He looks like little Sting Jr. Okay, so last thing I want to talk about before for AEW, because not a whole lot happened on Rampage except for the main event. But Cody Rhodes, he got cheered in his match, which he should have, hometown boy.
Atlanta.
And this match was so stupid but so entertaining. There were
it was nuts, but like
there were sledgehammers.
Brandy used way too much fluid.
Oh, it's like she was trying
she was
to
like,
set everyone on fire.
Oh my god! And she's looking at the crowd like,
And if I did
back,
if I didn't actually or had already seen the spoilers of what happened, as far as Cody Rhodes going through that table, I would have just been like, man, what is on his back the whole time?
I know.
Because it was so obvious that there was like some
that he had like the sheen of
the rappel
flame
stuff
material.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, that table burned and burned and burned and burned. It didn't burn out like normally, like when you just use lighter fluid and it just goes.
It looked like when it burned him, and then it got on Andrade too, and Andrade's like, "Fuck."
Right.
Yeah.
They were both on fire during the pin.
Yeah.
Andrade was burning during the pin, man. Yeah, but this was all kind of entertaining though. I love watching it.
It was.
It was train wreck.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
They used a laptop as a weapon. I was like, sure. What else you got?
Yeah.
Sledgehammers. What was the golden shovel?
Well, they used it to bury people.
They do. It was like a John Cena golden shovel kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the match was awesome.
The golden shovel wasn't. Wait a minute. The golden shovel was gold dust, a reference to gold dust, because that's what in the Buried Alive match he pulled out a gold shovel.
Really?
To bury Undertaker, I think. So there's a little nod to Dustin,
Cool.
And then obviously the sledgehammer was like because
Triple H.
Yeah. And there was
who was the laptop?
Oh,
maybe that was like the anonymous Raw general
GM.
The fucking
I have just received word from the anonymous Raw GM.
That just made the lights go up and down, like in the arena.
And that'd be Hornswoggle?
Hornswoggle, yeah.
Under the ring?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking Cardi bullshit.
All right.
So then on Rampage, there was the next, or Jade Cargill looks like a killer, and it'll be her against Thunder Rosa, Ruby Soho against
Destination.
The other one. I do like the TNT tournament, and I'm really, really excited that they're letting it breathe, giving it time. It's kind of awesome how they've done
TBS tournament.
Yeah. Yes, that's what I said.
It has been.
You be quiet over there, valet.
My job is to look and not speak.
Yes, or do things. But really, the main event was the coolest part. IPAC and he joined Penta because Rey Fenix is having some visa issues, and they took on FTR, and it was a great match. But then Aleister Black came out, and I swear he was actually trying to gouge out Pac's eyes, and now he's going to need 2 eye patches because he got more black goo in his other eye, so now he's going to come out with 2 eye patches like that. But yeah, that's about it.
He went to go. He was like, try and take off the glove. It took him entirely too long.
Yeah. The last
really
thing I wanted to say, I was going to talk about MJF's Hanukkah jacket. Was pretty hilarious.
It was awesome.
And then, man, AEW is pushing like the racy kind of attitude era stuff because they're calling each other needle dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So I mean, it's not.
They're referencing WWE a lot.
They are.
They really are. Like
almost every show like now for the past month.
Like a mockery somehow of all. Yeah. So, well, that was AEW. Pretty decent week of stuff there. Let me get you to what happened in Impact Wrestling last week. Pretty funny little spot between Moose and Matt Cardona. Always ready, Matt Cardona. So they fight. So Moose and Cardona fighting each other, and then after the fight, Moose calls him mid Cardona. You get it? Like
that's actually pretty clever.
It was pretty clever. I was like, I can't believe nobody's done that yet, but that was awesome.
Moose.
Yeah, that was awesome. So that night, and then a couple other notes. Chris Sabin beat Matt Raywalt, while Mickey James.
Hardcore country. See,
and
I'll pause a little bit longer. That's
a good one.
And Deonna Purrazzo brawl around the arena. They kind of brawl to the back. Jonah makes his Impact debut with a squash match. Rhino and Violent by Design, their feud continues. And then we get to the main event. Moose and Morrissey versus Eddie Edwards and Matt Cardona. Moose told Morrissey before the match if he helps him keep Cardona away from the title, he will give Morrissey a shot. Morrissey's like, I'm not stupid enough to think you're going to give me a shot. So anyway, late in the match, Moose and Morrissey are basically dominating. Eddie takes out Morrissey. Cardona counters with the Uranagi. AJ. He counters with the Uranagi.
Uh-oh, I forget. What was it?
You just supposed to say Uranagi. You're supposed to say Uranagi. Uranagi. All right, let's try it again.
Alive, pal.
Eddie takes out Morrissey. Cardona counters with a Uranagi.
Uranagi.
Thank you. And rolls up to Moose to win the match. Post-match, Morrissey gives Moose a big boot, so they turn on each other, and then he stands tall over Moose as Impact goes off. So not a whole lot happened this week. A lot of buffoonery, but
love buffoonery.
Some smodgy stuff. So real quick, do you guys like Tony Nese being an AEW
professional athlete or whatever he calls himself?
Yeah, the premier athlete. Yeah,
he'll be a good jobber.
All right. Take us through WWE. Their Primo with let's see, we had Raw, SmackDown, or SmackDown.
I just want to
Raw.
say about that, about Tony Nese.
Sure.
He looks great. He's cool. He's a premier athlete, all that stuff. But
boring.
At some point, are we supposed to continually expect that every talent that has been released from WWE coming into AEW is a big deal?
Yeah, no, it's going to wear off real fast. Unless, like, the only one... I don't like if Kyle O'Reilly showed up in AEW, I wouldn't give a shit.
Or not only that, and just take WWE aside.
Yeah.
Every talent that debuts at AEW, are we supposed to be like, oh, he's the next big guy? Well,
I mean, with the Tony Nese thing, we've already seen him. He was buried on 205 Live for a long time. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I still think it comes back to you're going to be excited. Who you're going to be excited about? Am I excited about Tony Nese being AEW? No. All right. No. So hot take: if Gargano shows up in AEW, I will not care. Like, honestly, I hope he don't. That's just me.
I would be less excited than I was for Adam Cole because I love Adam Cole.
But Riley, now I would be a little more rallied only if Fish is there. Now, if he shows up a singles competitor, no. But Red Dragon, yes. So I think you're excited for who you're excited for. But yeah, like you're right though. I mean, we can't think that Tony is the premier athlete because WWE and now AEW says he is.
I just think it's nice to have a
He's
name.
Got nice abs.
I just think it's good that they have like a name enhancement talent there
for sure.
Because I think Tony Nese is going to be enhancement talent.
He's shredded.
I think he's going to be.
Yes,
it's good.
I just do a complete gimmick overhaul. Like, I just want to get away from that gimmick. But I guess they probably left it up to him and he decided to go with it. But, I don't know.
It was a foolish decision. You're a fool, Tony Nese.
All right. We got Mike now?
Yeah, it is my turn.
It is.
So you may continue.
So WWE recap. We'll start with the Smackity Down. So on SmackDown, we have right at the gate, Brock Lesnar returns, and he seems to be in really good spirits. Of course, he's returned. He says, "Of course, I've returned for the Universal Championship," but then he's interrupted right away by Sami Zayn, who was the winner last week and became #1 contender. Sammy says him and Brock are both a couple of Canadian alpha males.
I love that.
My favorite, and I put my favorite thing about this whole thing is Brock's like apologetic ignorance about Sammy in the #1 contendership. He's like, "Oh, it's your turn. My bad. I'm so sorry."
Like it was like, oh, Brock Lesnar is fucking funny. He is
He's like, "Oh my god, who are you again?"
Did you want to go? Okay, I'm so sorry.
It's your turn. Right. You know what? You should go. And then that's what that leads him into. Brock like somehow bullies Sammy into cashing.
He manipulates him.
Yeah,
into taking a match.
Into taking the match tonight. and feels his heart full of courage like a lion. You know, he's like, you can do it. You're gonna go out there, you know, give one for the Gipper. And he's like, I'll be by your side. You got this, Sammy. And then basically, they finally get to the main event. Sammy takes a little too long and saying what he needs to say to Brock, and ends up eating 3 German suplexes and 2 F5s.
Which was also fantastic.
Right. And then he picks him up. He picks up Sammy and puts him in the corner.
That was my favorite spot of all of Raw.
He like just pats him on the chest and he like bounces.
Yeah, he picks him up, and everything that WWE did this week, that was my favorite.
Right. And then Roman literally comes out. Spear, guillotine, game over. Like that was
done.
it.
That was all.
We are the ones. Roman versus Lesnar at day 1. It's official.
Which is good because it's so suspenseful as to what's going to happen at day 1. Tune in, folks.
We move on to Raw here. Show opener, we got Big E defeating Kevin Owens in a hard-fought cage match right there at the beginning, but they're immediately attacked by Rollins. Rollins begins attacking Big E right out the gate, and then literally, because Big E comes out the gate.
Comes out the gate.
And then Rollins also starts attacking KO, but then Big E is able to get the upper hand. While we're at commercial break, everyone's attacked by Bobby Lashley, leaving everyone not me because I'm not an idiot, but apparently Byron Saxon is, because he's like, why would you do that, Bobby Lashley? And everybody's like a new challenger. But this is the guy that Big E won the championship from.
he beat him. Well, there's no new challenger.
Not a new challenger.
No.
He's just been out of the picture for like a month.
Yes, back now.
Yeah, but Bobby Lashley came out, destroyed everybody, and then left.
I liked Seth Rollins' suit, by the way.
I did like it.
I like this one. I mean, I always like Seth Rollins' suits because they're all always equally ridiculous. This one was especially ridiculous. I was a big fan.
It's like what was it, like half red, half black across.
Yeah, and
like
all shiny. It was great.
So that was the main title picture. Then the secondary title picture on Raw was Liv Morgan and Becky had a good match. Liv Morgan wrestled her butt off, but ends up falling short of capturing the title off a big time Bex due to Becky holding the ropes once again and just getting away with her championship. She claims like being over 500 days undefeated or something like that. So yeah, Liv Morgan, as show goes off the air, you can see her saying this is not over, blah blah blah. Obviously, they're going to continue this feud, which is cool because it's it's bringing up Liv Morgan, and it's always good to bring up stars that they haven't been utilizing.
They show the plant in the crowd, the little girl with the face. Her
Oh,
daddy
yeah.
telling her when to make
The
it.
little girl with the face.
Daddy was
That
standing
girl
right
with
there, man, the whole time. Like he was standing there looking at her, and yeah. And they panned right over to her. I'm like,
So that was the 2 main titles on Raw. But let's get to the most important part on Raw, and that was Randy Orton in a blazer as RK Bro watched
like a beige blazer.
The RK Bronament. Okay. Yeah, Riddle ends up, he's like, Randy. He gets him to put on a blazer. He's like, the people want you to put this blazer on. They put the blazer on. They go out there. They commentate the freaking Bronament, which is a tag team tournament.
Yeah.
AJ and
Sounds like a
Omos.
My Little Pony thing. I don't like that title name.
Now.
Yeah. The Bronament.
AJ and Omos look like they're going to be splitting up soon.
Adds a lot of weight to your pick to win the.
I was going to say, just in time.
Starting to line it up,
I made a call.
A little bit.
What I'm saying?
Yeah.
We'll see if it comes.
One of the writers listens to the Sit Down Marks.
Yes, he's like, AJ Styles, eh?
Yeah. So, afterwards, Riddle's like in the ring. He's like, "Hey, Skipper, what happened between you and Omos?" And AJ's like, "Why are you talking to me?" But no, the whole thing, that whole exchange was my favorite part of Raw. Move on. We didn't talk about War Games yet, but we can talk about the War Games results real quick before we get to the NXT Aftermath. So, let's go over War Games.
Yes, let's.
We had the all-women's War Games match between the team of Raquel Gonzalez, Io Shirai, Cora Jade, and Kaylee Ray versus Dakota Kai and Toxic Attraction.
War Games.
War Games. Yeah. The winners were Raquel Gonzalez, Io Shirai, Cora Jade, and Kaylee Ray. Kaylee Ray's team had the advantage. Cameron Grimes versus Duke Hudson in a hair versus hair match. Cameron Grimes to the moon. And he is still going to the moon as he defeated Duke Hudson like we said he would in this hair versus hair match. And tag team championship match, Imperium versus Kukau and Von Wagner.
Von Wagner.
So Von Wagner
Worst name ever.
Turns on Cool Kyle and Imperium wins.
Yep. Got to beat up Kyle on the way out, right?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Random, yeah.
It's like a rule, right?
Really weird. But yeah, Roderick Strong with the Diamond Mine wins, beats Joe Gacy he retains the Cruiserweight Championship. And finally, the men's War Games match. Man, the ovation that Johnny Gargano got when he came out was pretty awesome. They showed him some love.
Yeah, they did.
So first we had Team 2.0 come out, and that's Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, and Tony D'Angelo. Then Team Black and Gold arrives, which are the OGs of NXT. Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, Pete Dunne, and also LA Knight. Let me talk to you.
LA Knight.
Now,
let me talk to you.
Team 2.0, unfortunately, got the victory. And the note on that was that Braun Breaker pinned Ciampa.
Yeah, with the press slam. He pressed him, dropped him, boom!
And you said last week you noticed how the crowd's barking. Well, this week, on War Games, Braun was barking.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, was he really?
Ooh, yeah.
Yep, he's trying to fire him up, man. That's what his dad used to do.
I am a big fan of how they all have, like, war paint on their face. They all have...
Yeah.
I always like that
cool.
gimmick for the War Games.
Yeah. But another thing, too, is you always know you're going to have to sit there and watch a match for like an hour, maybe, or 45 minutes. Like,
then they're all going to do the stare down.
They're all going to do the stare down spot, right? Yeah.
Which was funny that you mentioned
across the ring, and
they did.
So let's move on to the actual NXT show that happened on Tuesday, which was your War Games aftermath. Excuse me.
Aftermatch.
War Games aftermath. I'm not good at speaking. Cage match to open the night between Cool Kyle and Von Wagner. So there was like no build in this rivalry, right? It was like he turned on you at War Games. You get a cage match right out the gate to open the show.
Right. Yeah.
So basically, this feud looks. I'd say it looked far from over, but we know with the Kyle O'Reilly situation, he even appeared to be waving goodbye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It seemed like he just told them or something. Like they didn't know till late. It was all of a sudden, all right, well, go out there and put over Von Wagner. You know, and then you can get out of here, kid.
Wasn't Von Wagner like Adam Pearce's bodyguard 2 weeks ago? It's like they don't know what to do with him.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah,
he's just showing up randomly in different places. I mean, we're talking about him.
Until what they want to do, Vince wants to put the belt on him, like all the belts on him, because he's got a giant Von Wagner boner. A stiffy.
He's the new Drew McIntyre, I've heard.
That was my German accent when saying stiffy. That's terrible.
That was not good. Yeah.
Stiffy. Okay, I'm gonna stop.
So Braun Breaker is not alone in the pursuit of the NXT Championship as Roderick Strong gets his name thrown in the hat. And I put the line of the night. Malcolm Bivens says, "If Black and Gold built NXT, then Roderick Strong gave him the blueprints."
Nice.
Yeah. Then
Sure.
the shaman, the MSK goes and visits is Riddle.
It's Riddle. We should have known this one was coming. It was a whole weed smoking deal.
They ask him what he is, like, what's in the bag? Or,
Yeah, that's great.
Johnny Gargano gives a heartfelt promo about his future, what NXT has meant to him up to this point, and he talks about his next job being, a papa in February.
This is very cool.
But is interrupted by an assault by Grayson Waller as the show goes off the air.
Grayson Waller. Yeah, got to give him some heat, man. He was kind of the star of the men's.
Yeah, he was the breakout. Yep.
Yeah.
Grayson Waller, huh?
I was looking though. I was like, when I was watching that match, it's like I wonder how long he's going to keep the boxing shorts.
All the time.
Yeah, he looks like Marky Mark or something in that video. Come on, feel it.
But that is your WWE recap.
The Grayson Waller effect.
Hey, this is Buck Nasty, Bucky Collins, and you're listening to Sit Down Marks.
All right, time to get to this week's Dropkick discussion. This month, we are doing ECWs that you've heard me talk about here. So why not kick it off with the very first ECW pay-per-view was from 1997. I had a blast covering this one here. So let me bring you up to speed of what's going on in the world of ECW around this time. So, all right, so ECW, this is their very first pay-per-view, barely legal, April 13th, 1997 at the ECW Arena, obviously in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It took a while to get this show up off the ground. It had been previously canceled in 1996 by a few other networks that were scared to take it on because it was so violent. And, it was deadly wrestling. It wasn't family friendly, that kind of stuff. So they had been canceled by a couple networks on it, for being too bloody, wild, dangerous, that kind of stuff. So 4 months later, they get on a TV deal, but they would have to kind of make a deal that the show wouldn't be very bloody or have a lot of violence in it, and which is the card that we're about to watch. So, but what brought this to making them do that is some of the executives from some of these networks had got word about the mass transit incident. Now, if you know wrestling, you know about the mass transit incident. Basically, New Jack cut a wrestler really bad in a planned spot, but he cut him like really bad. Ended up going to court.
It was a kid. It wasn't even
he was
a
17. Yeah,
17-year-old.
Paul and him said they didn't know he was 17. His dad was in the crowd. He said something like,
he lied about his age.
Let him go. He lied about his age. Yeah. So some executives got some word of this. So that's why they told him, okay, we'll do the show, but you're going to have to dial it back. But anyway, that's what we see. Obviously, Joey Styles, the voice of ECW, calls it here. Tommy Dreamer comes in towards the end. But just want to talk about, guys, a couple years before this was really when my tape trading day started. They had been rolling about 3.5 years before they got on to pay-per-view. So it was cool for me to go back and watch this because I remember in 1997 watching this pay-per-view for $20. I bought it at a buddy's house, and we got to watch it, man. And it was kind of cool because I had just watched VCR tapes of ECW up until then, and it was like a guy out in the parking lot filming Sandman and Taz beating the fuck out of each other, you know what I mean? Or or Mike Awesome doing something nuts, you know what I mean? Like, so this was cool for me, to see them finally get on pay-per-view because I'm like, oh sweet, I know who Taz is, I know Sabu, like I know these guys, like it's great, man. The Dudleys, like, just awesome, right? So it was cool, man, because like I said, watching this in 97 was really cool, and it was really nuts. But during this time too, man, like in my wrestling fandom, like this kind of wrestling, like I was still scared. You know what I mean? Like it's still like I was, like the the introduction to deathmatch wrestling is what ECW kind of was for a lot of people and me. You know what I mean? So I was scared a lot. So I had to watch this pay-per-view because I had to see what was going to happen. And you know what I mean? So my dad didn't like me. No secret. My dad loved wrestling, wrestled, promotion stuff, but he didn't want me watching ECW because he thought it was trashy,
too violent, too trashy.
Yeah, to his profession,
too
that
Francine.
kind of stuff. But the more I talked to him about it, the more we kind of started watching it. I popped in a tape one day, and and he's like, "Oh, this is crazy," and it's nuts, man. But yeah, so this was cool. So all right, so some quick numbers. So we had 1,170 people were in the building that night, which generated. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's more than I thought.
That's to the
more
gills.
More than it looked like.
That's to the gills, basically, in that place. It's long been since renovated. You can't get that many people in there now, but back then, so they generated about 66,000 just in ticket sales alone. They had 104,000 pay-per-view buys at $19.99 is what it costs to buy it. So a couple other quick notes. This show, Beyond the Mat, the famous wrestling movie, was filming in the back during this pay-per-view.
Wait, was it really?
Yeah, it was.
Cool.
Because it's when they get famous Paul Heyman speech that he says before the pay-per-view starts. And I got some notes about it, so I'm going to read it to you here real quick, guys. This is what he tells the boys right before he said 10 minutes before they go live. This is what he told the boys. Everybody's in their gear. They're, beyond the mat. He says there's 17 million homes that has the chance, the availability to buy this pay-per-view tonight and watch you wrestle for $20 and see what you have done for the last 3.5 years. He said, right now, guys, thank Terry Funk for all he's done. He has put ECW on the map. He has said Terry has been unselfish in selfish times, showing the young guys a better way. And he said, tonight we have a chance to say, yeah, we are too extreme. We are too wild. We are too fucking out of control. We are too full of our own shit in this kind of wrestling. He goes, or we can say, fuck you. We are right. Because all of you have made it to the dance. And Paul, in famous fashion, says, believe me, this is the dance.
No, it's not. But I love that confidence.
Pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Awesome. That's good. Paul is so good.
That is such a good speech.
Yeah, he is, man. He is. All right, so 2 dark matches that didn't make it on here. 2 guys, Luis Piccoli defeated Balls Mahoney, and then Chris Cleddy and JT Smith. Sorry about that.
Yes.
And JT Smith defeat FBI, which is Little Guido and Tommy Wildfire Rich.
Little Guido and Balls Mahoney. I forgot that Balls Mahoney was a thing.
That was the dark match.
That was the dark match.
Thank God.
So right off the bat, man, the energy of the crowds was awesome. Joey is in the ring, talking Joey Styles. Right over his left shoulder is a sign that says Bischoff takes it up the ass.
I saw that.
Yep.
So right up off the bat, you're at an ECW show.
@ $$.
Yeah.
You want to know how else their audio is fucked up.
That's part of my notes that I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, fucked up.
Yeah.
And then,
that's how I was like, okay, ECW show.
Yep, exactly. It always sounded different every time. And then the Dudleys use the pre-promo to say, time to testify. And then the famous ECW music hits, and we intro into the pay-per-view. All right, guys, notes before we get to the first match.
I just put my initial thoughts. I said, couldn't hear Joey Styles very well. I said it was an interesting straight open to the event, where they just opened straight into Joey being in the ring, and then Dudley's come out. I put their sound equipment was horrible.
It was
and
garbage.
Then I noted that they did not bleep the "fuck you, Devon" chant.
Nope.
No,
And I said, besides the terrible graphical text overlay, I really enjoyed the intro video.
Yeah. I also really
Music
enjoyed
was
it.
iconic.
I've totally, maybe I didn't know this ever, but all the different Dudleys, the only Dudleys I remember are Bubba,
Dudley.
Devon, and Little Spike Dudley. Those are the only one like Sign Guy Dudley,
and Big Dick Dudley.
Big Dick Dudley.
Yeah, the family was big, AJ.
Dances with Dudley. Like, fuck off.
Mama and Daddy Dudley got it on, brother. There's a lot of Dudleys out there.
Also, did you see when Total Elimination came out, like Cronus, who was an absolute joke, looks at the camera and goes, ass, baby, ass.
Total Elimination! Yeah, like
that was my Joey Styles.
You can't do it. So to start the pay-per-view here, we got the famous Dudleys versus the Eliminators. The Eliminators are Cronus and Perry Saturn. Right off the bat here, I love the way the ECW ring sounded. It always had a different sound. It always was their sound. Just sounded like a cheap ring. You know what I mean?
Yes, it did. Sounded like it hurt.
Sound. Joey Styles' voice always synonymous with ECW. Joel Gertner, I forgot about him. Who ends up getting the total elimination at the end.
They hit him hard.
Yeah, they did. Man. Oh, man, they busted his chops, dude. Great finish.
How cool is that move, by the way?
It is.
How come no one uses that move anymore? Or does someone else lose?
Crap.
But it's so awesome.
I know, and it's kind of like the double goozle, which is the same way, except somebody rolls under your feet.
That's right,
instead of the sweep and then the clothesline. But yeah, so the crowd was a little weird here to start. They were silent at some point, at parts, like anticipating things, and then loud, but a definite ECW crowd. They hated RVD. We'll talk about that later. But here's the first thing too. I want, back in these days, I just assume right off the bat, every one of these wrestlers are fucked up. All of them are on something coming to the ring. Like, this is, like I'm looking at their faces like Sandman looks like he was like,
that's
ready to go
in my notes.
Yeah.
So Sandman just.
So yeah, it was amazing. So
Sabu as well. Like Jesus Christ.
Sabu was so young, man. God, wow, man, he was so good. All right, so what's that?
No, I have a little bit of notes on this first match once you're done.
Oh yeah. All right. So Cronus and Saturn, constant traditional tag team work. They had a lot of different spots. The Dudleys were a little more of the unconventional tag team. With some their own kind of spots. It was a good match. They waited on spots with each other a lot. Like there was a lot of standing and waiting for people to position and get ready a lot in this match. But nerves, opening match. We'll give it to that. But Cronus had a really nice 450 for a big guy. I was impressed by that. But and then total elimination screened by Styles as they finish off the Dudleys.
Wait, what's it called? What's it? Total elimination. What's it called?
Total elimination. And then so Saturn and Cronus are 3-time ECW tag team champs. Really cool finisher. Yeah, man, this thing could be brutal. It's a leg sweep with a simultaneous clothesline, over the top, but that one they put on Joel Gertner was nasty at the end, man. Gertner. What notes you guys got for this opener?
So I have for this first match, I have Joey Styles got annoying very quickly.
Oh,
just for this match, though.
I know all about him, and I try.
Oh my god!
Now, mind you, my wife was watching this whole thing with me, so I had to explain to her this is what Joey Styles is known for.
Yeah.
And I was just like, but this specific match, and also too, like the way he was calling it sounded like he was calling a video game.
Yes, it did.
He's like, clothesline, to the outside, clothesline,
suplex.
Backslide.
Yeah.
Backslide, yeah.
So, but I did say that, however, this was a really fun match to watch. I enjoyed the match. The Eliminators were awesome. I thought they were cool.
That was,
really,
especially Saturn.
Saturn's good. I pulled up a picture, showed my wife what Saturn looks like today.
Scary.
I said that Joey Styles sounds like he is recording a video game, and then at the very end, I put the what scoring system?
The what did he call it? The I forget, but basically he judges the match when it's done, and
like it's a fight,
yeah,
like it's a boxing match, yeah.
AJ, what you got?
So I thought this was a great opener. There was zero selling. It was just moves. Like it was my move, your move, my move, your move, and all the moves were just awesome.
They wanted to keep moving, you could tell.
Yeah, like they were getting through. They got their shit in, and then they got out of there. Didn't know there were so many Dudleys. The Eliminators are awesome. Even Cronus, like I later on, Cronus turns into a bit of a jobber, but right now he looks awesome. And yeah, great result. Cool finisher. I wish someone else would figure out how to do it safely and bring it back because it's so awesome.
Yep. All right, so
also
next...
Joey Styles doesn't. I like Joey Styles, but I can see how annoying he is during this match.
Oh, for
it's
sure,
like,
yeah.
It's like during like this kind of match, and like when women fight, then he's the most annoying.
Like I can hear somebody new listening. I can see definitely how you can get annoyed now. Just watching it, like I don't know, it's just synonymous. Like I don't know, it's like second nature. Like I don't really hear him go nuts until it's like, oh my god, and then it's like, oh yeah, he just said it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it totally could be annoying. But next up, that annoying Joey Styles in the ring saying that Chris Candido is injured and can't compete. So Candido comes out and cuts a promo on ECW that he basically started it and he should be showcased. You know, he referenced to his girlfriend that he can't mention, which was Sunny at the time.
Sunny, yeah.
Yeah, and, you know, Candido, man, like, I mean, yeah, obviously he's dead, crazy. You know, we've heard about his career. Man, he was like, he was the total package, man. Like Shane Douglas, you know what I mean? Like it reminded me how good Shane was. Like, I've always been a Shane fan. Like,
we're gonna argue about that later.
Well, not a fan of his, you know, sort of other things, but yeah, we'll talk about that. So, but next up was RVD and Lance Storm. So, RVD replaced Chris Candido in the match. So originally RVD was not supposed to be on the card. There were some things going on where he was rumored to be talking to WWE, WWF, other things, and the crowd at ECW Arena knew about it, and they got word, and they let RVD know that he needs to get the fuck out as quick as possible.
They literally chanted that.
They literally chanted that at the end of the pay-per-view, so we'll get to that. But during this match, Lance Storm comes out, if I could be serious for a moment. Just kidding. He didn't say that yet. It wasn't there yet. But, man, he looked
wasn't
young.
His face.
He was nervous. He had a rat tail. He fixed
the rat tail.
Oh, my God. His rat tail.
He fixed his knee pads like 1,000 times.
It was
he was so nervous.
The dyed blonde rat tail.
Yes.
It was amazing.
Joey said this was his first pay-per-view on TV. So
you could tell.
Yes, yeah, good tell.
Also, really quick, did you see him pose for like the wrestling photo? Like
yeah,
before the match? Like they don't do that anymore either. That makes me sad.
They don't. So, and then the crowd briefly chanted, "You sold out," when RVD came out, people were flipping him off. The crowd was really hard on him, because, like I said, they heard that he was selling out to the corporate wrestling world, but more to come on that later. Getting to the match, Storm hit RVD with the lightest of chair shots that I may have ever seen anybody tap. He literally just tapped him on the head, and to get to the end of the match. But hey, Lance Storm, RVD, I could watch these guys go for a while because they're both technical. RVD's a little bit of a high flyer, so they got a lot of their stuff in. You can tell after Storm shook off the cobwebs, he was really getting into it. But to get to the end of the match, Storm hit RVD with the lightest of chair shots, and then RVD gets the Van Daminator on him. RVD wins and grabs the mic and tells the fans that he is worth more money elsewhere. And the crowd chants, "Get the fuck out. You sold out." I heard one guy yell in the mic, "You don't belong here anymore." So what you got for this match, guys? Young Lance Storm.
So I put, I miss RVD. I've always been RVD. I like RVD.
Same. Me too.
And I said, because Joey said this, so they threw jabs all night.
Sure.
And so he said, Joey Styles said, "No pretty blue mats on the floor here in ECW."
Yeah.
They landed to the outside.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I just put that I actually recently watched in real time. I recently watched the documentary where RV talks about this promo and talks about how he was feeding the rumor mill. You know what I'm saying? So that his market value would go up, and also he wasn't actually going anywhere. He was, but eventually, not right then.
Yeah, not for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's probably leveraging a little bit too. You know what I mean? Like he's one of the hottest in the game. A lot of companies out there. You know what I mean? So I mean, yeah. So got anything, AJ?
So dyed blonde rat tail was the greatest thing I've ever seen, and like those chair shots, the crowd booed him mercilessly when he did those country cunty bloodthirsty crowd. Like he's trying not to hurt RVD. He doesn't want to hurt, and the crowd's like, "Boo, no, concuss him!" Like,
well, I think a lot of that fell in there too because they thought RVD was leaving and he was protecting him, like not laying it in like they normally would in ECW. He was kind of just giving him the tap and going out the door, brother.
That being said, they were the worst chair shots I've ever seen. It was just like dink. Lance botched a couple of times where he tried to do that cool roll up single leg Boston Crab that he does, which normally he does it so smoothly and is awesome.
Yep.
He botched that a little bit. But yeah, I enjoyed this match too.
Yeah,
it's 2 for 2 right now.
So third match on the card that I covered was the showcase of Michinoku Wrestling, who had a partnership with ECW at the time. This was basically a showcase of their guys. We had the Great Sasuke on one end with Gran Hamada and Gran Nanima, I believe was his name, versus Terry Boy, Dick Togo, and Taka.
Dick Togo.
Taka Michinoku.
Taka Michinoku, yeah, man. So, and they were Taka was wearing the BWO Blue World Order, and so the entrance music that all of these guys had did not fit their styles.
No.
It was like a banjo, and I don't know. It's like just whatever you got left.
Generic, whatever you got. Yeah, just press play.
Just whatever's in the deck. Just go.
It's like,
you got something queued up, doesn't matter.
Yeah, like here's some drums and throw in a violin and shoot, hit a little guitar and harmonica there and send them boys out there. All right, so to keep going here, the Great Sasuke was great to watch, especially since I watched him just a couple years ago wrestle Joey Janela at one of Joey Janela's shows. So, but great, match. Just they did just to kind of get themselves over and showcase their styles. The good guys win. Great Sasuke wins with a snap suplex. And then we head on to the next part of the show. If you guys got anything on that?
Yeah, so I just put, for that specific match you were just talking about, I like how the ECW crowd took a second to stop being a bunch of douchebags and actually show all the international people some love.
Yeah, they did.
They really
actually applauded for them, and they cheered for them, yeah. And this is also when the Primo household, because like I said, my wife was also watching this with me, this is when we noticed how springy and loud the ring was.
Yep. Yeah.
It looks like they were jumping on a damn trampoline.
It was. Yeah. I mean, they were hopping, man, hopping. AJ, you got anything for this? You back? Somebody needs to turn down their YouTube.
AJ, mute YouTube.
I'm fine now.
Okay.
Yeah, that was fucking weird. Things happened. Stuff went awry.
All right, so Stevie Richard cuts a promo with the Blue Meanie here before we get to the next match, and this is where Primo takes over.
Yeah, I just wanted to say about that too, real quick. Stevie Richards. I just wrote this down. Stevie Richards. ... So intense in this promo.
Oh my god.
He's trying so hard.
Yeah.
And then the whole moment's completely ruined by the Blue Meanie.
He does the razor.
I know in the background doing his.
Yes. Oh god.
Jobbers.
Like everything Stevie just worked for, you lost me.
Awfully
gone.
Great. Awfully great.
Just gone.
Oh, so moving on to the mid-section of this pay-per-view is what I took over. First match we had here was the franchise Shane Douglas versus Pitbull number 2. So
this is the funniest match on the card.
So there's a lot of smoke when the franchise Shane Douglas comes out. I am not a fan of the guy who held up a sign and ruined that initial camera shot of Francine.
Yes.
Oh,
At the
yeah.
beginning, yeah.
He was up at the apron and he goes with the sign.
Yeah, it like covered her perfectly. You couldn't
Exactly.
see
I was
Yeah.
like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
So, and I said, oh, they finally, speaking of Shane Douglas, they finally have someone who can speak loud enough on the microphone.
Yeah, but
Because I could actually understand what he was saying.
Yeah.
I thought the B-roll footage while Shane Douglas was giving a promo wasn't that great of an idea. So he was giving a promo, for those that haven't seen this, he's giving a promo about everything that he's done in recent times, and they're doing B-roll footage without audio because he's giving a promo. It's just footage of him doing these things. So it's really weird. I didn't think it was that good of an idea. The music keeps... So Pitbull number 2 comes out.
Pitbull number 2.
The music plays for so long. Like they're wrestling and the music is still playing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then I said there was one point in the match where Pitbull hits Shane Douglas with a reverse atomic drop, and it was one hell of a reverse atomic drop. He like lifts him up, and like Shane goes all the way up and just drops him.
Yep.
I laughed out loud at, I'm ashamed to say this. It just caught me off guard. This specific chant I haven't heard in wrestling, so I laughed out loud at the "She's Got Herpes" chant.
Yep, she's got herpes.
To Francine.
Yeah. What was the other one? Oh, you're core.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And again, don't hear those.
My wife was just like, that's not very nice.
That's rather mean-spirited, if you think about it.
Oh, you're right, honey. I think they might be hurting their feelings. Pitbull number 2. Pitbull number 2 was super blown up.
Pitbull number 2. I love that so much.
He was blown to all hell.
Yeah, he was not. He was not having a good time.
He is no longer with us.
That does not surprise me.
Right.
Are either Pitbulls?
I don't know. Number 2 is not here. I know that.
What stupid name?
In the first, but number 2 in this match, he was gassed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And about halfway through the match, and he still had a lot to go, and this is when they started botching the spots. So Shane Douglas tries to they do a guardrail spot where Pitbull number 2 throws a guardrail in the ring, and it's a guardrail segment, and they stand it up so Shane Douglas can lift him up. It's a reverse. He goes to lift up Pitbull number 2, which, by the way, my wife called out Pitbull number 2 because as Shane Douglas goes to lift him, he just puts his arms out like a little baby.
He does.
Or it's like he just put his arms out for him.
Yeah, he's got to help fucking useless Shane Douglas.
He lifts him up, and when they lift him up, they kick the guardrail, and it just falls over.
He lands on his knees. Like,
he lands on his knee, and then Shane Douglas ends up attacking Pitbull number 2's groin.
It's so bad.
Right. So then they go to the outside, and at which time they try to attempt the guardrail spot again, and they kind of screw it up a second time because he lands on his like inner thigh,
his leg a little bit,
and then Shane hits him with a soft ass chair shot, just like the one with Lance Storm and RVD. It was a super soft, to the back of Pitbull.
Meh.
And then they got booed. So then he goes to hit him with the ring bell, and inside the ring he hits him with the ring bell, except it's like a super soft ring bell spot, and the crowd ends up booing him because they see how soft it was. But however, I will say this. Pitbull number 2 was just like no selling all these weapons. He was getting hit with a chair, getting hit with the guardrail, getting hit with the ring bell, and I think a chair at one point. And after each one, Shane Douglas would go to try to pin him, and he would just kick out and no sell didn't hurt him at all. Out of nowhere, Chris Candido comes in to interrupt, and he's supposed to be injured, and he takes a hell of a bump on the hardest part of the ring while his arm's in a sling. I said the coolest part of this match for me was the end. There was a swerve at the end. They had who we thought was Ravishing Rick Rude come out in in his robe, and he came out and he kisses Francine, who, by the way, did not fight it off. And at that point, they go and they unveil that it's not Rick Rude. I don't actually know who it actually is.
The chubby man in the mask and the Rick Rude. You know, Rick Rude, one of the most cut
exactly.
in the history
the most shredded dudes ever.
I was curious too. It's the Underfaker. Remember when they did the Undertaker versus Undertaker?
Yeah,
that's who that is. I don't remember his actual name.
So, and then added, it kind of reminded me of Edge doing this, because Edge did this a similar spot probably 10 years later.
2006, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Rick Rude, he was one of the Riot dudes. And he comes in and he beats up Shane Douglas. It's a whole swerve. Rick Rude wasn't under the robe. And so then we figure out that Rick Rude was actually in the Riot Shield the whole time. That him and the Underfaker high-fiving.
I'm trying to remember that guy's name. I can't remember it.
Once again, Francine totally did not fight off that kiss. She looked like she might have liked it.
Yep.
Well, she does have herpes, apparently.
I put that in between matches. It was really cool to see Raven. Quote the Raven nevermore. I thought after this, Taz went into a promo. I thought Taz's promo was really good at first. He had me. He had intensity. Mm-hmm. He really lost me, though, when he said, "I got goosebumps, bro."
I hated Bill Alfonso during that.
And then also the promo just seemed to go on for too long.
But
then they get to the match. Obviously, I like Taz, so I really liked him during this time in his career.
Sure.
He comes to the ring, classic Taz, towel over the head, Bill Alfonso being super annoying. Where did Sabu even come from? He just appears.
That's kind of his gimmick. In a lot of times, he just shows up, no music,
right?
No nothing. It's great.
So they're in his genie pants.
Like, hello.
So they end up fighting, and at one point, Sabu takes a shot to the nose, and there are no doubts about. So Joey Styles, there are no doubt about it. That nose is broken.
Yes.
And I said, there's no doubts about it. If you had any doubts, get rid of them. That nose is broken.
Nose is broken.
So I thought the Sabu chair spot into the crowd, where he jumped in chair springboard into the crowd, always cool to see. Overall, really fun match. Bill Alfonso is really annoying with his whistle.
Oh my God.
He does his job.
Sabu failed a lot of times.
Yes. Yeah. Many.
I put that right there. I'm sure I say it at the end too here. I said, according to Joey Styles, everything on Taz is massive. He says, Taz, they're holding that massive shoulder. And then later on again, he's like, shit, Taz is massive thighs. Or something like that. I was like,
I'm glad there wasn't like a low blow, because then Joey Styles was like, it's Taz's massive willy.
Yeah. I said I like Taz, and I do like the finish. However, honestly, the Taz mission doesn't look all that bad.
No, he's just like, whoop.
He's like this.
It's like he's
not even like,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So then afterwards, Taz, after the match, so Taz does go over. Taz was, after they had, so this match was cool. They had all kinds of spots in it. Tables breaking, going in the crowd, into guardrails, all kinds of shit. They beat each other up. And then after the match, Taz was trying to be heartfelt and the crowd wasn't having it at all. He was trying to be heartfelt, be a good sport.
Yeah.
And crowd was just like, shut the fuck up, stop being a puss. And
stop being a puss.
The sportsmanship, however, was short-lived as RVD came out and they beat Taz down in a 2-on-1 assault. And that, but for a person who jumps off ropes a lot, Sabu sure does miss quite a bit.
He misses all the time.
And then I put Bill Alfonso reveals that he sold out and turns on Taz.
Oh my God.
And that was the end of my series of matches.
So I have a couple of things really quick. I hate Bill Alfonso. Like during like the Taz promo where he had like the ratty towel on his head, he just kept going like
It was so close in the camera too.
I know, it's like right there.
I just realized I didn't get you guys comments on the Shane Douglas match either.
Good, because I hate Shane Douglas, and he kept botching, and
I
he's
just said
useless.
I love his promo, and the referee counted really fast.
I liked his words, the promo, but the B-roll footage over it was kind of weird.
This is why I don't like Shane Douglas. He was hiding the chain that Francine gave him. It's like, why? You're using all these weapons. Why are you?
I thought that was
hiding
weird.
The chain?
I didn't think that was weird. I didn't see the point in doing that.
Plus, I hear he's a cunt in real life, so I don't know. Rick Rude, I totally forgot that he was even in the ECW. It was fucking awesome. And then Taz. Like, as much as I make fun of Taz, I forget how awesome Taz actually was back then. Like, yeah, his little like.
Yeah.
When Sabu made fun of him, I laughed when Sabu stood up and did that.
Yeah. But Alfonso almost ruined this entire match for me, just because he's so obnoxious. And after like the match, when Taz already went over, and Bill Alfonso's like, "I tell you everything, Taz." It's like, no, he just won, and now you're going to the loser side. And then also, I love RVD saving his promo, because Bill Alfonso was on the mic, and RVD like grabbed it. He's like, call me or my new manager Fonzie, and I love to work Mondays. I thought that was
Mondays. Yeah,
love to work on Mondays.
Promo. Yep. So the next match was the lead up to the main event. So we had a 3-way. Winner gets a shot at Raven for the championship. Stevie Ray, Sandman, and Funk. Take us through it, AJ.
So first of all, Raven, he looked cool, but his promos were so garbage. Like when he was sitting on the back of the steps, he was talking about like raging against the machine, and then I was like, shut the fuck up. Just shut your goddamn stupid mouth. So yeah, this first match was Sandman, who looked insane, and he looks like he's like straight out of like a 1980s like trailer park, with his like, what are those pants called, that Zumba pants?
Yeah.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
And his like blonde mullet. And,
Zuba,
like,
yeah.
Zuba, yeah.
He comes out with a smoke and a beer, which he chugs his beer very impressively. But crowd loves him. And then Stevie Richards, who I hate the BWO. I like the Japanese BWO, who are heels. I hate the ECW BWO, who are faces, making fun of the WCW NWO, who are heels. I hate the BWO. The Blue Meanie is stupid. I don't even remember what's his name with the "you got it, dude." Like, is he supposed to be Macho Man, or is he supposed to be?
No, that's Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Fucking hate his guts. And Stevie Richards, get the fuck out of here with your little jorts and your fucking belly top. Like, go away. Why are you in a main event at all? That being said,
because Stevie Richards is an ECW fucking legend.
Oh,
that's why he's in the main event.
Yeah, he's better. He's better as a member of the RTC than he is as BWO.
Right, to censor.
That's how much I fucking hate BWO. But
when
then
with Victoria,
Terry Funk comes out to Desperado, which is so stupid. Like, it's the worst entrance music in the history of entrance music. But it's your typical schmazzy weapons thruple. Sandman is absolutely useless, cannot do anything. He jumps off things and he'll like land on his feet and then like sit down.
They
when he
even
tries to
say
do a
that.
move.
I think Joey Styles says that. He's like, he may not do many wrestling moves.
Right.
But the crowd loves him. Like, they really do. There's some ladder spots where Sandman just gets bashed in the head a bunch of times and Terry Funk falls over. They do a double pin on Stevie Richards. Thank you. Get the fuck out. And then Terry Funk almost kills himself when he tries to do one moonsault because he's 56. He shouldn't be doing moonsaults. But then he hits another one, and Sandman is out of there. So it was an elimination match. So what do you guys have for that one before I move on to the main event?
I just have short and sweet. I wonder how much Sandman drinks before he comes out for his
all of it.
For his hour-long entrance.
Oh, it's so long.
And then I put such a massive change of pace between Sandman's music and when they turn on Terry Funk's music.
Desperado.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
and then I just put Terry Funk's moonsault on top of a barbed wire wrap Sandman, and also bashes his head on the trash can on the way down.
Sandman throws a ladder and a trash can and hits Terry Funk directly in the head both times. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I just had that. I thought it was good shit, and I love watching Funk spots.
Yeah, it was great. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great watching. Yeah.
It was gross because at this time, like, that whole no blood thing for the pay-per-view audience goes right out the window because Terry Funk is just pissing blood out of his face.
Yeah,
it is
Sandman's bashing
pouring
out his head from the can.
So everyone leaves, and then Raven comes directly in. I'm like, wow, that's super fast. And I found out later that they were so pressed for time, and it was because Cunty Shane Douglas went 20 fucking minutes, where the main event has like 7 minutes to go. So Raven immediately comes in. Terry Funk is like a turtle the entire match. He does not get up off of the fucking mat.
You're an egg-sucking dog.
Someone, I can't remember who, but someone goes and attacks Tommy Dreamer on commentary, which, by the way, Beulah.
Big Dick Dudley.
That's right.
That was the worst spot off of stage ever. They like jumped up.
That choke slam?
That choke slam.
My wife called him out on that too.
They went like this. They like jumped up, and Big Dick like landed on his feet, and they just kind of like flopped off and missed all the tables. But he missed all the tables.
He did, yeah.
Hit like one, and then like
that was my only note at the end. Was the choke slam from Dreamer was so horrendous that my wife had to say something.
That's pretty funny.
It's kind of ECW in a nutshell, kind of, wasn't it?
Yeah.
By the way, Beulah, I always love Beulah. She's smoking hot.
Beulah, yes.
McGillicuddy. So then Tommy Dreamer goes down to the. At first, he's like, "No, he needs to do it by himself." And I'm like, "This is like an episode of South Park." And then finally, Funk gets the win over Raven to become the new ECW champion. And then afterwards,
I'm the new ECW.
Well, afterwards, it was gross. Like he was bleeding all over the place. Tommy,
53 years old,
pissing blood. He gets into the crowd with Tommy Dreamer, just still pissing blood. If I was in the crowd, I'd be like, this is fucking gross. Get me to a wash station or something right now. Because he's just bleeding all over everyone. However, it was a feel-good moment at the end of the pay-per-view. Because, you had your old Never Say Die Terry Funk winning over stupid fucking Raven.
23 years before the pandemic. They didn't care.
No, they're just, give me all the Hep C.
It was the right thing to do. It was a nod back to Terry for putting ECW on the map. Mm-hmm. They had finally done the pay-per-views. Everybody loves Terry. You can't go wrong, man. Final thoughts on Barely Legal, boys?
Overall, I really enjoyed it. It was good. I thought I really enjoyed a whole lot of it, more than I thought it would. If you look past some of the production things, and that's just me being me. That's petty, that's my petty stuff.
Sure.
But if you just look at the actual matches and the quality and stuff, even if you go back and look at something like the list of names that Taz was laying out, holy crap.
Yeah. Murderer's Row, man. He was laying out Murderer's Row. I mean, you look at this Barely Legal card. I have, the poster card on right now. It looks old in itself. They were trying to get this thing up off the ground. So it was really
like
awesome.
Old VHS tape right there
to see where they started. Yeah. So next week we're going to be talking about Heatwave, which was the very next week, the very next year, 1998.
I just realized it says no minors, no exceptions.
Yep. No minors, no exceptions.
So that's what's
also, so this was their like first pay-per-view, which it was actually, I really liked it a lot, except for Shane Douglas. Fuck off, Shane Douglas. Heatwave.
You have to have your one.
I gotta get one. Gotta get one on there. I don't mean to do it, but
you just find them.
Fuck you, Shane Douglas. Heatwave is like their most critically and critically acclaimed, and it's like their fan favorite one too, which I'm super excited to watch Heatwave. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, some say it's the best one ever. So, all right, so that's what's going on. Dropkick discussion next week. Let's move on here. AJ and I was at Iron Spirit Pro this past weekend. We're going to let you guys know what happened on the card there this past Friday night in Normal, Illinois. I want to personally thank Logan and Iron Spirit Pro there. We worked all weekend. We put up the ring, we put up the chairs, set up the venue, had a blast doing it, and I guess we've done it good enough, AJ, as we are officially now on the Iron Spirit Pro crew.
Hell yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah,
so much fun.
Looking forward to working with them. Every show they're going to have, we're going to be there. AJ, tell us what happened with the card, man, this Friday night, this past Friday night.
So it was super, super cool. First of all, they kicked off the show with Cardini, who looks like a deranged clown / demon type thing, and he was fighting Storm Grayson, who did Storm Grayson just fight not too long ago there, Dirty?
Jay Lethal.
Yeah, just fought Jay Lethal on Dark. Good opening match. Storm Grayson's pretty awesome. He beats Cardini with the V trigger, and he does it very well, by the way.
He does.
So up next, this is an odd. Like, I love this. Rip Studwell.
Yes.
I'm just gonna leave it. Rip Studwell.
Rip Studwell. He looks like the recreation of pro wrestling's. Who was it? Who was the Ric Flair looking guy on there?
God, what was his name? Mr. Star?
Wrestler
No, Star.
Something. Anyway,
Yeah.
Golden Panther or something like that. But
He awesome.
he tagged with Cornboy.
With
who was,
Cornboy.
one of our favorites of the weekend, man. One of the nicest guys we met this weekend. Him and Storm Grayson at Iron Spirit Pro, really nice guys. At Logan from 815 as well.
Cornboy was amazing. And they were taking on Austin Matthews or the B-Boys, really.
Bang Brothers.
Yes.
Bang Brothers.
They couldn't say that, though, so it's the B-Boys.
It was the B-Boys, yep.
Or B-Bros. So at one point, they did this like cool like rolling spear type move, which was awesome. And then Cornboy, he almost dies. Like, he hits such a nasty spot to the outside. It looked horrible, but it was awesome. So what do you think of that match?
Oh, I loved it all. I thought they put up some good techniques there. You know, the tag matches were totally different. You know, they both did different stuff. So go ahead and read us the rest of the results, man, of the card here.
All right, we have Valentina Loca versus BB Ryan, which one of my favorite spots is when people with no muscles do the gun show. Love it. It was so awesome. There was a flag distraction after a spine buster, and Valentina Loca gets the DDT for the win. Cool. Now we come to the match of the night, and both of our opinions, which we'll get back to, was Craig Mitchell versus hometown boy CJ Esparza.
Yeah, this was awesome.
This was a fantastic match. Dirty, you had the line of the night when you were like, he reminds me of Shitter's Full.
Craig Mitchell reminds me of
Randy Quaid.
Randy from, they kind of look a little bit similar. Yeah.
This is the fact that he reminds me of Shitter's Full.
But I love Craig, man. He's one of my favorite Midwest wrestlers.
He was so cool.
He's been posting a lot of backyard videos lately. And
have he?
He's nuts, man. He's awesome.
I liked his pin where he did it with one foot and then yells confidence to the crowd. That was fucking cool.
Confidence.
And he hits the package pile driver for the win over the hometown boy. Up next, we have Connolly versus Kevin. Is it Giza? Is that how you pronounce his last name?
Yep, Giza.
Okay.
This spot of the night.
Oh my god! So, well, one, there was this cool move where he did like this, like leapfrog into a German suplex type thing. It was very cool. But Jesus Christ, there was this frog splash that Kevin Giza hit onto Connolly, like on the apron / on the floor. It was nasty and it was awesome.
Yeah.
The whole crowd was like, so I believe Connolly went over in this match, and then the ref carries out Giza like a baby. Like he holds him in his arms and like cradles him out. It was funny. 815 versus Landers and Sage. This was also a very cool match. Landers is an absolute animal. Sage is too, as is 815. I actually really like this match. But Landers and Sage, they win with the it's like a power bomb, like something off the top rope. It was very cool. And then finally we have our main event, which is Brubaker versus Ace Perry. Brubaker gives a pretty good promo. Like he's a good heel.
He come out and says he's from the town and rips on him. You know,
it's consistent.
It's like consistent.
It's very consistent. You know what you're getting with the Brubaker promo. At one point, Ace Perry holds, like he was like taking Brubaker around the ring, like holding him up for like the fans to like slap him, and he takes him in front of Brubaker's sons. And Brubaker's like, "No, you won't do it. You're my son." It made me laugh. It was awful, awesome. then we have a ref bump. Then we have the old dick hoove. Actually, there were many belt shots. And then Brubaker hits a fisherman suplex for the win. That is the entire card.
Yeah, I had a great time out there, and wrapped up that night, and it was a really great show, man. A lot of the talent
awesome.
put on some really good some matches there, and looking forward to the next one there. It hasn't quite announced it yet, but it's it's coming up here soon. So
also we talked to a lot of the fans there too, and a lot of the wrestlers, and everyone again was super just nice and interesting to talk to and friendly, and it was amazing. It was a really, really good night.
Yeah, it was, man. It was. I was glad to help out there and be involved with it, and looking forward to working here with Iron Spirit Pro moving up. I want to thank Logan for letting us help out and sponsor all these upcoming shows. So you'll be hearing a lot about Iron Spirit Pro coming up here in the next coming weeks when we find out when that next show is.
I'm Dakota, and you're listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast.
All right, now it's time to cover Zawa Live Wrestling from last Saturday night. Me and AJ had a ball. We went up to Sterling, Illinois for Dreaming of a Fight Christmas. We sponsored the show there, and AJ, man, we had a good time. We've already talked about the local Sterling folk there, and man, did we have a blast.
That was so much fun. First of all, I want to say thank you to them because they collected Toys for Tots was there, and they collected so many goddamn toys. Did you see the boxes at all afterwards?
Yeah,
they were like stacked full. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yep.
And yeah, I liked the venue. The venue was, you had like that true like indie feel, and like
good old Moose Lodge there in Sterling, Illinois. Check it out.
Great
there, yeah.
We got to do commentary, which not gonna lie, like 10-year-old AJ can go fuck himself, because guess what? Adult AJ got to do fucking commentary on a professional wrestling match. Go fuck yourself, 10-year-old AJ, you stupid idiot.
Yeah.
But yeah, like some of the spots that I enjoyed, like and Mr. Havens was awesome. He does these dance spots and he gets the ref involved, and it's so fucking cool. At one point, Braxton was messing with us, and that's when Hartenbauer, who was on commentary, like comes over and like starts a brawl on the outside during the
like he kind of made his way toward us, and Hartenbauer was like, he ain't coming after my boys over here. So yeah, they fought, man. It was awesome. They were the main event. So and Hartenbauer ended up retaining. But yeah, I had a great time, man. Everybody there made us feel at home. The Sterling crowd there was great. I got to see some wrestlers I had never seen before. These guys put on a great show. I'm looking forward to the next show that's January the 8th. But you heard AJ talk about the match that we got to call was our local favorite, and our favorite here early from watching Zauer Wrestling was Dakota in his match versus Hunk Cassidy. Now, Hunk Cassidy was a really big, large man going against small little Dakota, but Dakota was able to pull out the win, and we was happy to be able to call that match with Gage Bright, who I said is a really cool dude, another guy that made us feel really at home. And
he was awesome.
He is just an absolute great dude. Go check him out. He is calling all the matches there with Zawa. So yeah, we were able to talk to Dakota about his match right after he just got done beating Hunk Cassidy, and here it is. All right, this is the Dirty Bird. I am here with Dakota after his big win. Dakota, how about that match tonight, man?
Oh, I never doubted myself for a second. I knew I had him. He might have been bigger than me, he might have been wider than me, but I'm craftier. I'm smarter.
That's right. You definitely are, man. It was a little test of will there for a while. He jumped on you early, and then you kind of pulled out the win there at the end, man. Talk to me about the finish of that match and how you came out on top.
Well, I just said I never doubted myself. I would say I was on the ropes for a second there. Fortunately, though, he ran into my elbow, which got me a little bit of momentum going there, and I just stacked him up.
Put it on him, yeah, man. Well, that is it. We're here at Zawa Live tonight. Big show this past Saturday night. Dreaming of a Fight Christmas. Go check out Zawa Live if you're in the Sterling area around Illinois, and make sure you check those guys out at Zawa Live. Thank you, Dakota, for those comments post-match. I enjoyed it. Dakota, I want to thank you for talking to us after your big match there. That was a big win for Dakota, AJ. We were excited when he come up with the win, right?
That was pretty awesome. First of all, the crowd absolutely loves Dakota. Absolutely loved him. And he was going up against a bigger guy, and we were excited on when we were doing color, like when he got the win. Or you went nuts, which was a little funny. Like I did.
Yeah, I really like Dakota, man. He's he's giving it all he has, out there, and he's wrestling. He's going to be wrestling a lot of big guys. So, a little bit of the underdog story. And then after, talking to him after the match, for lack of a better term, I think I fell in love with him even more. I want to go buy some suspenders now
and a tie with gumshoe.
I rewatched all this, right?
Right.
So from an outsider looking in, for the third member of the show that wasn't there, I will say up until this point, other than you guys on commentary, my other favorite part was the music when they were like, I kept playing the music and he kept dancing.
Yeah,
that was
Havens.
Yeah, Mr. Havens. Yeah,
that cracked me up so much.
It was so good. We were acting it on, man. It was a great show there. We had an absolute blast. Mr. Havens, all those guys, man.
But I will say, yeah, he pulled it out, one for the tie wearers around the world, and he did he fall out of the ring 7 times like you guys predicted?
No, he ended up at 6. If you count the last one after he got the pin, that was the 6th time.
Yep.
So he got lucky. Didn't do the full 7.5.
So you're going to see our faces back in Sterling coming up here very soon. The next show is January the 8th, and I want to take a second to thank Zeke and everybody out there at Zawa for being so nice and considerate to us, taking care of us. The hospitality was top-notch, so we really do appreciate it. Looking forward to getting back over there.
How are those nachos, by the way? I didn't get to have any, but how were they? You had some.
They were good, man. I was pretty hungry, and they were good. Very good nachos there at the old Moose Lodge.
Best nachos.
All right, moving on
Illinois.
to this Sunday, December the 12th in Northbrook, Illinois, is the wrestling promotion debut of Second Wrestling. The card is called Creation. We had the chance to sit down with Rabbi Jeremy Fine here not too long ago and talk about, how he put this show together, what it takes to get a promotion up off the ground. What was some of the things that you guys were impressed by Jeremy?
He was so you think someone I was genuinely curious when I was like, when do you sleep? Because he has accomplished so much and he does so much. It is insanely impressive. And just hearing him talk about everything, he was fascinating to talk to. He was such a cool guy as well.
Yeah, it is. This is going to be a big card coming up this Sunday. If you're in the Northbrook, Illinois area, up in northern Illinois, man, get up there and check out this show. It's called Creation. They've got Colt Cabana. They've got Billy Starks. They've got Eric Cannon. They just recently announced Warhorse is going to be there to replace Trevor Outlaw. This is going to be a big show. And, yeah, like I said, here's the interview. We recently sat down with Rabbi Jeremy Fine, one of the coolest guys I've met. Since we've kind of started doing this, man, just a really, really swell guy. He's going to be a friend of the podcast coming up, and I can't wait to get up there for one of these shows. So here's our interview with Rabbi Jeremy Fine with Second Wrestling. Hey, today on this episode, we got a really awesome episode today. We got bringing on Rabbi Jeremy Fine, who is the owner and founder of Second Wrestling, who is having its inaugural show this coming Sunday, December the 12th in Northbrook, Illinois. $30 for a ringside ticket, $15 for general admission. Like I said, this show is this coming Sunday. And Rabbi Jeremy Fine, thank you for taking the time to come on the pod here today, man. We appreciate you being on with us.
Thanks for having me. I see we got a Celtics fan, we got a Bills fan. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what Primo's rooting for, but I got the Hawks hat on. We got almost every sport, every city represented.
Like everything covered. Which I'm not even really a Bills fan. I just randomly buy football because I don't care about football. So
there it is. Oh, he's putting up the hook 'em.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, man. So you're on the show here today, man. We're going to talk about this big show. This is your inaugural show. We're going to talk about, what it takes to get a wrestling promotion up off the ground. I'm sure you're an exhausted man, as we're, just days away from this show happening. So, but first of all, tell the world, Jeremy, or our listeners, about yourself. What your life is like as a rabbi, and before we get to the wrestling stuff, so to speak.
Sure. Yeah. Day to day, I am a full-time pulpit rabbi. I have a synagogue, awesome, not too far from where we're going to be doing the wrestling show. I grew up here, and always sort of, I was telling this to someone earlier, I always wanted to be a college basketball coach. That's what I went to college to do. And somewhere along around found that I thought I'd be a better rabbi, or at least I wouldn't have to live in Nowheresville for 15 years until I got small assistant job somewhere. That was how it was in the early 2000s. You really have to work your way up, and nowadays you maybe have a little more flexibility, or could move up quicker depending on who you are. But anyways, the rabbi stuff is my full-time job. I love it, and one of the things I love about it is that you can still be, as one of my friends said, a Renaissance man. You can do a little bit of everything, and no 2 days are alike. Sometimes that means there's a lot of sad days, there's a lot of happy days, but I'm always on my feet, and I'm always moving around. And I'm kind of the thing that separates, I think, me from other rabbis or other clergy in general is to think programmatically outside the box. Religion, and when we're in prayer, I'm pretty traditional. But there's no reason why when we celebrate, we can't have fun and do exciting things and bring community together. So that's where I've made my niche. And, it's this came about through being a rabbi. I've always been a wrestling fan, and I've always been interested, never really thought of it as something I could do on the side. But because of my job and the way I build community, this was a natural fit. And so this is the next one of my crazy ventures. This is the one I seem to be most passionate about. And we're hitting the ground running.
Yeah. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Yeah. I guess rabbi is one of those last real Renaissance jobs left out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's got to be interesting from day to day. But you were talking about wrestling, man, your early influences, man. Who did you see on TV? What were you watching as a kid? Like, what made you, want to get your parents to buy you a ticket?
So I watched everyone as a kid. I mean, I love the Macho Man, Rockers, Ravishing Rick Rude.
Rick Rude,
my boy Rick Rude.
Yeah.
Today I would say if I really look back at that era, I love watching Piper and Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect. But all those guys, I love the characters.
We appreciate those guys like that from, now that we're older, Piper and Hennig, we didn't understand back then, but now we appreciate them. So yeah, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. Best storytellers. And then I sort of was really just WWF at the time. And then when I got to high school, you sort of dropped it for a few years. And then when I got to high school, a friend of mine was watching Raw, and I just got glued. And we started watching. One of my friends had a black box, so we got all the pay-per-views. So we'd go to his house and watch them.
Yeah.
And
everybody had a buddy.
Yeah, and got pulled in. We went to a SmackDown with The Rock and Mick Foley, and so got sucked in that way again, and sort of watched it on my own in college. So, those were the guys who I love. When I go back and just want to watch wrestling, it's Steamboat, it's Hennig, it's Savage. It's those guys who really, and I love, all these documentaries that have been coming out over the last couple of years. The story of the Road Warriors is so incredible.
Sure.
So I have all those DVDs. And as I got older and in high school, I used to, so what I would do is I'd go to the gym on Monday nights, and I would, because we didn't have cable. My family was like the only ones that had cable. So I would go to the gym so that in between sets, I could watch Raw. And then on Saturday nights, we could tape ECW. And I was a big Rob Van Dam fan. And, I'm not like a hardcore person. Like I love what GCW is doing, but it's not my thing. So I don't see myself going to a GCW. I love what like Cardona's doing there. I think that stuff is super cool, but I don't have any.
It's genius.
Yeah. But, I think ECW was hardcore like that. They also had, the Rob Van Dams and the Rhinos who could go in the ring in a totally different way, and the Dean Malenkos and all those people who could wrestle. Definitely. And that's what I really got hooked. And Paul Heyman, of course.
So there's one thing that I was curious about when I was learning about Rabbi Jeremy Fine, and that's you applied for Tough Enough. Can you tell that story? Like, how did that come about? When I saw that, I'm like, I gotta ask.
Oh, here we go.
I didn't really, apply. I sent it a tape, and I hope that tape never gets leaked because it is incredibly inappropriate, and it's probably the only thing out there that could actually cancel me. But like. I didn't even think that wrestling could have been something we could do. I mean, these people were larger than life. It'd be like someone saying, I'm going to Hollywood and being going to be a star actor. And I grew up, my cousin was a childhood actor. He's most known for the movie Newsies, which is like a Disney cult classic. Anyways, sure. So I grew up with him sort of in this light. And so I always thought Hollywood was over there. And I just put wrestling over there. And when Tough Enough came along, I was like, oh, maybe anyone can get a shot. I didn't think about going to wrestling school. Had it been on my radar, there's no doubt I would have given it a shot. The thing I missed most about getting older, and when I say older, 19, 20, was the camaraderie of sports, because I played for high school so competitively. And then you go to the University of Illinois and you're the second best team. And Bill Self looks you in the eye and says, we're not taking any walk-ons this year. Uh-huh. You don't know what to do. And, I played a lot of intramurals, but had I known there would have been something else you could do, I probably would have clinged to it. And I didn't. And that's probably what allowed me to go down the rabbi track. And now only later when I hear like Colt Cabana's podcast and things like that and how these guys get started, I was like, oh, you could have done that when you were 18. It didn't even dawn on me. It was like, you got to drop out of school to do that. That's what in my head was a reality. So the Tough Enough trial I didn't get a call back. So I don't think there's much of the story. I just made a video sent today, and who knows if they even got it.
Right. AJ, you said you had another accolade for Mr. Fine that you found out about him as well.
Yes. This is I want to know when this happened as well. I think it might have been before you took your current position at the is it the Temple of Aaron Synagogue in St. Paul? Is that where you're currently?
That's where I was. Now I'm at B'nai Tikva, which is in Deerfield, Illinois. So I moved about 5 months ago back to Chicago.
You were once named one of the most inspiring rabbis in America. Can you talk about that for a second?
Sure. Yeah, that was a thing they did. This Jewish magazine newspaper did for a couple of years, and you get nominated. And I think it was a wonderful award. I don't know much about it in terms of like what was nominated. How nominations go.
It means you're doing something right, man.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, I think
a lot right.
I think what I do differently is that I don't just sit. I think a religion. And not just Judaism, but like a lot of religions have just been running the same playbook. And it's like going to the same show over and over again where who the winners and losers are. And that's not inspiring. I don't think it is. I think we get lost in a lot of that shuffle. And I think the virtues of religion in a peaceful way are incredibly important. To take a break from your week and to believe that something is above you, whether that's God or just humility, that's incredibly important to life. We could all use that. Community, but that doesn't mean that like fun has to be, what we would label fun has to be boring. And I think we've blocked a lot of people out of religion because we haven't been able to relate to, the guy who wants to also go to the football game on Sunday and not church, or the, how do we also make it relevant in everyone's lives in today's with competing interests and responsibilities.
Nice. Very well done. Congratulations on getting that award, man, by the
Thank
way.
you.
So like I said, you must be doing something right. So, all right, man, let's get to this wrestling part, man. I want to talk right off the bat. The name of your promotion is called Second Wrestling. Now, the number 2 replaces the S in the word second, which, instantly, I love because I've seen the Ode to Chicago. We're going to talk about this beautiful belt that you put out here that somebody's going to come out with that championship eventually. But give us the story though, man. You've got some connections with Eric Cannon up in Minnesota there. Mr. Independent Wrestling, man, in Minnesota. Love Eric Cannon. I've seen him wrestle a ton live. So tell us how this promotion came to be from the ground up.
Yeah. So Eric and I met through Colt Cabana. So Colt's from exactly where down the street. Actually, when we were buying homes, we looked at the house next to him, and the realtor's like, the guy who lives next door is a wrestler. And I was like, okay, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I know who exactly.
So I was just actually texting with him because Gangrel posted a picture of him hiding a Hanukkah menorah, and I was like, "There's no way he fell through the cracks. He's Jewish, right? It's got to be his wife." So we're debating.
All right, yeah, you had to have him on the show for sure. Wow.
So
gotcha.
Basically, I went to an AAW show in Chicago and
awesome.
Fell in love with that show, and my wife took me there as a surprise, and then. Some congregants of mine heard about this and like, we should do a show at the synagogue. And I said, okay, let's, I've been known to do some crazy things. So let's try something a little different. And we went down the road with this promoter. It didn't work out. So Cole put me in touch with Eric and Cannon and I met, and we just sort of have a very similar vision in how we view things, how we treat people, how we want to go about business. And it was mutually beneficial. And I think what Eric and I both do is that we both feel if you treat the wrestlers right, and you treat the venue right, and you treat the sponsors right, and you treat the promoter right, and you treat the fans right, everyone wins. And usually a lot of shows, a lot of promotions, something from that element is missing. And he's the master at this. And so we did 2 shows. We sold out on a Wednesday night, right? Wednesday night in a blizzard in Minnesota, sold out, 400 something seats.
That's a good sign.
Yeah. So we knew we had something.
Minnesota has real blizzards too.
Yeah, they do. That's no joke. So we had our 3rd show planned, but COVID hit, obviously, as everyone had to recalibrate. And during COVID, Eric and I sat down and we met and we figured out how to do this safely. We ran 6 shows during COVID indoors, really safely. Actually, if you go back and look at the social media from First Wrestling during those times, people will say, we were the only place they would trust. We're the only place who did it right with fans in the audience. The wrestlers all talk about how every show they're like basically felt like at that time when no one knew anything, they were putting their lives on the line. And here we were doing it in a really great way indoors. So we did those shows.
Felt safe. Everybody felt safe.
Everyone felt safe. So and then we did one final show as I was leaving. And as that show was happening, I sat down with Cole and I sat down with Eric and I said, this is what I'd like to do in the Chicago suburbs. And they both thought it was a great idea. So we're really kid and family centric. That's not to say we won't ever have like a racier show. It's just to say that you likely won't ever see Killer Cross and Scarlett Bordeaux on our card. When we do the family friendly ones.
Right.
Sure. So not to knock them, they're great wrestlers.
Yeah, and you mean kid friendly. You don't mean family friendly because there can be a difference. You mean kid appropriately wrestling friendly.
You won't see weapons. You won't see that kind of stuff. We even will curb names if we have to. And one of the tag teams that's coming in, if you Google them, you're going to get some racy stuff.
Sure.
So we're using their last names, and I made that clear to them because I think they're good talents, and I want them to shine, especially in Chicago. So our goal is to be kid centric. So families can come with the kids. We're going to have slowly build those elements over time. Because I think the hardest thing is how do you finance and afford all this stuff, and not lose money. And so as we go, we'll build on that kind of stuff. And I think all the wrestlers we're bringing in, I trust. Or they were very much recommended to me. And otherwise, I've worked with them. Besties, we did a show during COVID.
Oh man, how good are they, right?
Yeah. So there's a bunch of guys who Billy Starks, Biller Onyx, Eric Cannon, Cole Cabana. All these people have been on shows with either Eric or myself, and I'm excited to bring them in and produce what I think will be for the kids a really great entryway into wrestling. Big personalities.
Sure.
How bummed are you that Trevor? Excuse me. How bummed are you that Trevor Outlaw is no longer able to perform at the show coming up?
Yeah. I'm bummed for us, but I'm more bummed for him. I mean, I think Trevor has been so important to the Chicago wrestling scene right now. He's one of the top heels. He was just really getting going, and getting noticed everywhere. And one of the reasons he was in this tournament is because guys like Eric Cannon noticed him, and we reached out and said this would be a great match. Eric and Trevor have wrestled twice before and had great matches. So, but never. I don't believe in Chicago. I believe it was like in Iowa maybe, and then in Minnesota once. So we were excited to have that show, but we will have a replacement announced by the time this airs. So we're excited, and let's say that this replacement who is just someone we're super pumped about.
Can you give us a hint?
Can I give you a hint? No.
Good answer.
How would you compare running a wrestling company or starting up a wrestling company compared to, let's say, a traditional business like day to day? And also, what are your favorite things that, being this is an unorthodox business versus traditional?
So, I think the difference between, for the most part, a one-man show. I have a crew that day. They've been great and really supportive. I'm excited to have them there. I'm doing everything. I got an email to the company from my cousin who asked a bunch of questions. I wrote back, and he's like, I didn't know I was getting you. I'm like, oh, I finance, promote, book, produce. It's all. So that's the biggest thing, is it's really myself. But I have some great friends who are helping, and we have some tremendous sponsors on the show who really obviously help make this happen. I think, day to day, I'm really, I think I started a company a while ago. So the intent isn't to just do wrestling, although that would be the backbone of what I want to do, but really working with athletes and booking them out. And so I learned sort of the contract work and that kind of stuff on my own. And then just have a sort of a natural, because of my job, how to promote and things like that.
Sure.
So there's, I'm really, Mondays are my days dedicated to the show. It's my off day. That's a lot of clergy have Monday off because we work on weekends. And then slowly, the rest is really social media, late nights. But I love it. It fuels me. It gets me motivated for my work day so that I can get home, do my hobby, which is this promotion. But the favorite parts, are the scary parts, actually. I know that might sound weird, but it's like when Trevor went out, it was scary. I was bummed, and I was like, oh, but I get this opportunity to book someone else and give someone else an opportunity. And
Cards
that was
subject to change, huh?
Exactly. And it was nerve-wracking, but it was also exciting. And I think that's the love we all have for wrestling. It's like, you never know what's going to happen. And obviously I don't wish anyone ill, but I want to, that's the fun. Once the whole show was booked, I was like, oh, now I got to promote. Like the booking part is the fun part, even if it might change. I think for like someone like Eric Cannon, who's been so ingrained, his product, he's got a show every month basically, and he's doing his own wrestling. So he is so much more involved in his persona, and rightfully so, as he should be, and marketing and selling merch and all these things that come with it. I'm just taking that first step. And do I think that we will have a show every month? No, that's not the intent. The intent really is to build up a company that has maybe 4 shows a year, quarterly, but then we appear if we can, we either with our title or without, on other shows.
Right.
So because
right.
of my full-time job, I'm just never going to be able to produce a show every month. There's just no way. I mean, I would, it'd be a disservice to my community. But what I could do is, you know, show up if AAW or Zello or Higher Ground or First Wrestling or some of these local shows, or when I'm traveling a lot for work. I do travel a lot for work when it's not COVID. I'm in the air at a conference or something once a month. And if I can figure out how to bring my champion and my belt to another promotion to get, and maybe even pay for those spots, but to build my content backlog and build some of that some excitement. I think I have something a little different that meshes both in my schedule, but also allows for my brand to differentiate itself.
Well, plus I think once they saw the belt, they'd be like, okay, bring that. That is a pretty belt. Like, did you design that yourself? Or?
I did.
Yeah. Let's talk about that beautiful thing, man. Good Lord. God, I'm in love with that thing, man. I mean, it just speaks to me, man. Like, you know, I love the big 2 on it for, you know, for second, nice touch, you know, but I think what really gets me, man, is the Chicago stars on it, man.
I love it.
You know what I mean? You know, with, you know, the name being second, you know, the second city, you know, the O to Chicago. But yeah, I was going to say, man, that thing is beautiful. Whoever gets to keep that thing for a while is going to have a really nice belt. If you haven't seen this thing yet, go look it up. It's by now would have been on Second Wrestling's social media for quite a while now. So you'll be seeing this thing. So whoever comes out with that is going to be looking really, really sharp here for a while. So yeah, nice job on that, man.
Thank
for
you.
Sure.
Yeah,
nice
Wildcat
job,
Belts makes amazing belts. I designed it. The plates, which are not so much sewn, there's a Jewish star. These are sort of odes to like that there's a rabbi running this, right? And the letters TGR are the Great Rabino, which is my sports website. On the other side is this menorah. Now that we're talking about Hanukkah a little bit, and there's a 1 in the middle, which is a nod to First Wrestling, which when we had this belt for Temple of Wrestling, which was sort of like an offshoot of the shows we did for First Wrestling, it had its own belt. The champion was Colt Cabana for all the shows, actually. But that belt has been retired since that offshoot doesn't exist, and now hangs in my man cave. So as all good belts should hang in a man.
Yes, yeah, so hang on the wall and stuff.
So do you plan to run up in that Chicago northern suburb area up in that way most of the time?
Yeah, that's the goal, but we're also open to other things. Like we've been in touch with some summer camps about potentially running a show there. I mean, that wouldn't be ticket based, but they would bring in a show. And we keep the content, we put it up on YouTube and things like that. We also, you know, I will eventually produce somewhat heavy Jewish shows. I don't know when and where. That is not the only thing we'll do, but a few people and I have discussed maybe a Jewish WrestleMania in LA next year because some of the wrestlers are already out there. So that could be, you know, guys like Chris Masters and Matt Seidel and Colt Cabana and having a great show. So I'm sort of open, but yes, we want to be home based in the north suburbs of Chicago, Libertyville, Vernon Hills, Deerfield, Northbrook, Highland Park.
Okay.
So yeah, this area.
Yeah. Really, really quick. When do you sleep? You have all these things going on. Like you have the Great Rabino, and you obviously have the show coming up. You're a full-time rabbi. You try. Like, when do you take naps? Like, how do you even manage to find the energy to do all this? It's really impressive. And
a lot of time with my kids. I really appreciate that. I'm a really good sleeper. I've often said that it's my best skill. When I'm supposed to go to bed, I go to bed. And when I'm supposed to wake up, I wake up. And it's a weird thing about me. I really, maybe 2 nights a year, I have now obviously I'm going to have a bad night's sleep tonight, but usually 2 nights, 2 cups of coffee in the morning and good stretching if I can get it in. Yeah. And, also I just am a motivated person. I've always sort of had a thirst for life and I want to keep busy. I'm also a very good multitasker. So I often tell people, like, I once told another rabbi that, like, I answer half my emails while I'm walking to the car. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, oh yeah, I just respond on my phone. Once you build it, I think that was the key thing I learned is that the upstart of a company is the hardest part. And when I was starting the Great Rubino as a company early on and getting all these athletes to sign on with me, unbeknownst to me, and I'm just sort of a natural social connector, so the trust was there. The website and the contracts and all that stuff was hard to do. It took hours and days and months. By the way, I also wrote a book which hasn't published yet. Like, there's a lot of things I'm interested in. I just my mark on this world is really to tell my kids, like, you don't have to limit yourself. You can be who you want to be and both provide for your family and have fun. Not that being a rabbi isn't fun, but if you have other side interests, like, don't let that stop you. I might not be ever walking down the ramp with a Titantron for WWE, but I'm going to produce a wrestling show, at least one. My hope is to do 4 a year at least. And it's not stopping me because I happen to also live an observant life.
And you wrote a book, which is also awesome. I was going to ask you about that as well, but
So the book is, it was edited, and then a couple of years ago, I hurt my hip. So I have not been able to sit and do it, but it's about this Jewish story that there's 36 individuals who keep the world afloat with miracles. And it's fiction, but it's sort of based in this legend. So I hope to finish it this summer, and then I have 1 or 2 people interested in maybe publishing it, and then the book will be off my desk and stop collecting dust. Yeah.
Very cool, man. Very
yeah,
cool.
Good luck with that, man.
Thank
Absolutely. I want to ask you though here before we actually start talking here about the card. Is Rabbi Jeremy Fine going to have a character on the show? I might have heard that you got a little stunner in your pocket that you tend to give out to people that step out of line here.
Yeah, so I will be the commissioner, and I will play a role in that way. Will I wrestle? And I know in wrestling they say never. So it's certainly true that Mr. Corbin and Darren Corbin and I have some unfinished business. I've done two great compliments in my life. The first was my high school basketball coach. A bunch of my campers ran up to him once and they said, was Jeremy a good basketball player? And he said to them, the best scorer I ever coached, but he couldn't play a lick of defense. So that was one. And the second was when Rhino came up to me and said, Rabbi, that was an incredible stunner that you just did. And I was like, listen, I was like, cool. Then I ran out to the outside, texted my best friend. I'm like, you're never going to believe what just happened. So if Rhino thinks I can do it, then, it was a magical moment for me. And I am now far more comfortable in the ring. I think once you do one of those and you do it well, you build the trust of the people around you. And I certainly am not going to allow Mr. Corbin to run his mouth at Second Wrestling. That I can promise you.
That's right. Yep. So I mean, if Darren Corbin comes around there and runs his mouth, he knows what he's going to get for sure. So we got about 6 or 7 matches probably on the card. Is what I think I've kind of put together here. I want to talk about the big the Chicago guy, member of the Dark Order. We love him. Colt Cabana. We've seen him wrestle around here a lot. We're going to have Swoggle on the card here. Billy Starks, a big wrestler in the Midwest, and just talk about the rest of the card. Don't want to leak whatever, tell us whatever you think you want to tell us there about the card coming up this Sunday.
Yeah, sure. So we've got 3 qualifying matches for the belt. Billy Starks and Blair Onyx will go head to head. So this is open to men and women. It's an intergender title. As of right now, it'll be our only title. And we want to make sure that everyone has an equal opportunity to grab it. Eric Cannon versus an unknown name, but again, by the time this airs, it will be known, assuming all my ducks are in a row. We also have Dan the Dad will be facing
Dan the Dad,
versus Matt Rayholt, Drama King Matt. So that's also a great match. I don't know that that's ever happened in Chicago.
Matt Rayholt, okay.
Yeah. So that should be a great match. Great competitors. And the final match for the qualifying will not be that evening, but it will happen, and it's going to be a really special match. So you can look out for it. Probably right around the end of our show, you'll start hearing about what that 4th match is going to be. So we won't announce it until then.
Awesome.
And from there, Other people I want to highlight, so one thing we put out there a few times was that we want wrestlers to write in and tell us their story. And if we can book 1 or 2 wrestlers per show and give them an opportunity where they haven't had in Chicago or kid friendly. And so we've had some of those people. Shane Black, who's up in Minnesota, he's an up and coming wrestler. He'll be on the card. I don't know that he's been in Chicago yet. Corey O'Neill, who's down in Texas, the Big Chill, was the first person to write in. And we were excited about him. And there's others, we can't book everyone on the show like that. We're very excited that
cool opportunities though for some people.
And create those because but they've got to, to be honest, I really want to work with not just good wrestlers, with good people. And so everyone is coming to me is getting recommended or someone I've worked with, because the safety of the fans, the safety of the crowd, it's got to be people understand like we're a little different. You can't run your mouth. You can run your mouth, but you got to censor it a little bit, right? And how to do that. And so we have some people who we're taking a flyer on, but we also have like someone from First Wrestling named Free Range Kara. She's great. And I'm excited for Chicago area to learn about her. And she's really coming to her own. She's had some great matches. She was just at WrestlePalooza with like in a 4-way with, I think, Heather Reckless. So she's really great. I'm trying to think who else that I can announce now. And then Besties in the World versus Davey Bang and August Matthews. So August Matthews and Davey Bang put out a thing saying right before we were booking and said, we want the best in the world. And I said, I'm going to go get the best in the world, Besties in the world, and we're going to put them on this card. They've never gone head to head. So that's really, I think, going to be a showstopper for a lot of people. Swaga will be in action. So there's, it's about seven matches. And we're, it's exciting. It's every piece. We've had some, obviously, people because of injuries or whatever, not be able to make it. We've had to shuffle the deck a bit, but every match has the kid-friendly element, the highs and the lows, and we're excited to show our brand and only grow with it. We had a lot of wrestlers reach out who, when I look at their stuff, it's not kid-friendly. Forget about family friendly. It's definitely not kid friendly. If your promos are all about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, maybe the rock and roll is okay, but like you're probably not going to have a spot on our card. Right? And they keep sending me stuff, and I don't mean to be rude. I don't say no. I said I'll watch it, but like there's only so many references to these things that like. As a rabbi, I want to put on my show, but me and my daughters are going to be in the front row. There's no way that's going to happen.
Right.
So,
yeah. All right. Awesome. So, So tell me, Jeremy, it's Sunday, December the 12th, you wake up that morning to start your day, aside all the, day of stress, what are you most looking forward to, when that bell rings for the first match? Are you going to feel a sense of accomplishment? What's that day going to feel like for you?
I think there's going to be 2 or 3 moments that I'm going to try to breathe in. The first is when I arrive before anyone else. Just take a deep breath, and then the ring will be set up a little after I arrive. So I'm excited for that moment to know that, like, okay, everything's done. It is what it is. If the wrestlers don't show up, I'm going.
Sure, right, yeah.
Number 2 is, when I hit the ring and sort of introduce the show, which I will do, and give people sort of a context of why we're doing this. And cut I wouldn't say first promo, but my first promo in the second wrestling ring. And then, after the show, after all, I mean this seriously, wrestling, especially independent wrestlers, and AEW did an amazing job for these guys, but a lot of independent wrestler and NRO and Ring of Honor and others, but all these guys did not really work for a year. And they are starving to hone, to get into new promotions, to get their names out there, to wrestle again. And after they're all paid, which is probably what most promoters don't look forward to, but I am excited. I'm excited to give those guys and girls the recognition, the pay that they deserve. We have certain standards that we're going to hold by. And if we can't do that, then I don't want to operate in a way that, others may. No one will ever be not paid after a show. And we're going to make sure that gets done. The ring will be down, take a deep breath, and probably have some champagne at the end of the night with my wife and just chillax. So I'm super excited for those 3 moments. And,
and the name of this card is Creation, nice, good first, show name, to get this thing, up off the ground, man. So it's going to be a big day this Sunday for sure.
Absolutely. And you can buy tickets still on Eventbrite. Those tickets close, I think, Sunday morning. Right now it's masked. I think that's what shows are going to be like, especially if there's this new thing flying around. So the show will be masked. And you'll check in. We're at a good sales point right now, way more than we really expect it to be. Our hope is higher than our expectations. So we're still pumping out tickets. And hopefully people will come out and see it. And some people said, well, there's Warrior Wrestling, there's another show in the evening. And I said, make a day of it. Like, make it like a WrestleMania week. Wake up with us. Maybe don't see the main event or something. Or
probably like an hour, a little over an hour away from each other, maybe.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Well, I think it's a little closer because they're not at their normal venue.
Okay.
But yeah, about an hour. And then I don't know where the third show is, but 3 shows in Chicago on the same day, and with incredible talent. I mean, if you see all those shows in a day, you might as well have gone to WrestleMania. You got Colt Cabana, and you got multiple champions on both shows. So
I think there for a while too, WWE had a pay-per-view scheduled for like that day in Chicago, but they wiped it off the schedule. But yeah, just imagine that man town would have really had tons of wrestling going on.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So before we get out of here, we'll plug the show one more time here. Second Wrestling this Sunday, December the 12th in Northbrook, Illinois. Sunday. Doors are 1:00, bell time 2:00. $30 for ringside seats, $15 general admission. And Rabbi, you want to tell us too about the community center where this event is? Plug the address, get all that stuff in here.
Yeah, 300 Revere Drive. It's sort of like a windy road, but there's a big parking lot. It's in a gym. It's a great space. They're great. They were so excited about this, and we're excited to work with them. Great people. And I assume we'll do other shows there, assuming this one goes well. They're ecstatic about this, and maybe even take it to other JCCs. It's funny because the venue we're looking at for the next show is literally a couple blocks away, which is hilarious. Nice. Just by coincidence, next person to reach out. So yeah, you can check us out at Second Wrestling on Twitter, Second with a 2, and on Facebook. We'll have a YouTube channel up and going probably by the time this airs, if not. Right after the show to put out some of that content. And, we're excited to grow. I appreciate you guys. I'm happy to come on, and we don't even have to talk Second Wrestling, just talk wrestling. And we'll do a Hanukkah special next year, talk about all the Jewish wrestlers.
Yeah, I love it.
There we go, man. Yeah, hey, man, best of luck, man. I personally always love to see when new promotions are starting. That to me, I never have a doubt. But that to me always says that wrestling is still alive and well. It's still thriving. Your sales are doing great. So I was, glad to see that. So I hope you pack that place out, man, from the top to the bottom. We want to thank you for coming on today, man. It's been very interesting to talk to you. It is actually Hanukkah right now. So happy Hanukkah. Thank you for taking out
happy Hanukkah.
Your time here. But thank you so much for being on the Sit Down Marks podcast, and looking forward to getting to one of those shows, man. We're about 2.5 hours from Northbrook, that area. So good luck Sunday, man, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Rabbi.
All right, there it is. Our interview with Rabbi Jeremy Fine. If you're in the area this Sunday, get to this show, man. I enjoyed talking to Rabbi Jeremy Fine. Thank you for being on the podcast, sir. We very much do appreciate it. Hope to have you back on here very soon, man. Quick thoughts, man. This man has done a lot, and now he's got a wrestling promotion. I think we might see him handing out some stunners at some point. What do you guys think?
Yeah, he better. I think he will.
Yeah.
I don't think he's fucking around. I think he's gonna give out some stunners. Better be to Christmas, like us.
You think he probably will?
Stun Christmas.
Stun Christmas.
All right. Well, that is their interview there. Thank you once again to Rabbi Jeremy Fine for being on the show. All right, guys, it's time for promo school. Today, I'm going to bring you one from the Road Warriors. Now, this one, they're basically cutting a promo on the Russians and everybody else basically in the world. They throw Flair in there. They throw the Midnight Express in there. But, kind of the funny things, man, just kind of watch and listen to what Hawk says throughout this. So, throughout here. So, let me bring it up here.
Tony Schiavone, we're what this thing is country's all about. It's a violent society, and we're the product of our environment. What we say we're gonna do, and we get it done. Let me tell you something, Russians. If we want that six-man competition, we'll can't get over that. And let me tell you something, Nikita and I will call out. You open up your big mouth again and try it. Disband the Warriors. We'll slap your heads right out. Wrestling is a sport of opportunists. I've heard.
Wait, is that Hercules? Who's that?
Paul Ellering.
Oh, I didn't even recognize him.
Well, it just can't be done, Ivan Koloff. Try all you want, you'll win down. Now, there's also been talk by Ric Flair. Now,
I think I like your answer better.
All right, yes.
But on top of that tree, tiny little film. It's the Legion of Doom, Ric Flair. Wow.
Here comes Hawk. Listen to this stuff.
Midnight Express, so think about something. We're looking for you, tell them all. Hey, Ric Flair, I can spend a while talking to you and about you, but you're not worth it. I'll tell you one thing, though. I got more women in this world talking about my tongue than you do about your stinking suits, cars, and jewelry. And as for the Russians and Baron von Raschke, I got these three rats. And you know what that makes us? Decon.
You know what I always liked about the Road Warriors? Is their haircuts fit into each other.
Yeah.
They're like...
Yeah, they intertwine.
They've got like puzzle piece haircuts.
Oh man, you never knew what was coming out of the Road Warriors' mouths there, man. at all, at any time. So it's always fun to see those come up here. All right, time to close the show here, boys. Primo, tell the masses where can you get the Sit Down Marks podcast. I lost my spot.
Yeah, it's fine.
Well, Marks the masses of Marks. Wednesday, you can get the show Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. Also, you get the audio versions available the next day on Spotify. That's a Thursday, if you don't know your days of the week. The next day on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Amazon Prime Music, Audible, Facebook Podcasts, and SportzWire Online Radio. Live Friday at 6:15 Eastern Standard Time, right before the number one Thomas Bryce Show. Don't forget to give us a 5-star review. If you love the pod, tell your friend, tell your neighbor, tell your sister, tell your mama, tell your grandma. Tell them all to come listen to the Sit Down Marks podcast. Share them, review them, and we'll get back to you. We'll shout you out on the pod. We will love it.
Kind of lost steam a little bit.
That was good.
That confused me. Sorry.
All right, AJ, time to get to the UFC weekend picks here. All right, let's talk about what we got going on here. All right, so coming into tonight or today, you were 20-19.
Look at me, over 500.
Well, I'm sorry, you were 17-17 coming in overall. You went 3-2 over the weekend, yes. So that brings you now to 20-19. Congratulations. There we go. All right, before we get to Primo, let's make the picks here, my friend. You got 5 fights to choose from. Let's see if we can stay above 500. We got Paiva versus O'Malley.
What was the first one?
Paiva, I think that's how they say it, versus O'Malley.
O'Malley.
All right. Garbrandt versus France.
Let's see what Primo's doing.
Don't
France?
Don't sell it. Okay. Neil versus Ponzinibbio.
Ponzinibbio.
Pena versus Nunez.
Nunez.
All right, main event: Oliveira versus Poirier.
Poirier.
All right, good picks there. Nice job. All right.
I know.
All right, Primo. Let's bring you in here, man. You are 2-1 coming into today. You picked Jose Aldo last week. That one was a winner. So you brought the gamblers up once again. Nice job. That brings you to 3-1, Primo. Now looking at this card.
What was my lock last week?
Last week was Jose Aldo.
That's right.
Yep. So you won that with that one, and that'll bring you to this week, man. Who you like on this card here?
Let me tell you, first of all, after naming off and seeing this card myself, this is a stacked card. You got Sugar Sean O'Malley, Cody Garbrandt. You got
Amanda Nunez.
The Lioness, Amanda Nunez.
Yeah.
And then Charles Oliveira and Dustin Poirier. My lock of the week, UFC lock of the week for me, is got to be the Lioness, Amanda Nunez. She is one bad lady. You don't want to mess with her.
Yeah, you can't pick against her. Nice job. Very smart pick there. So let's see. We'll see how the boys do next week. AJ picking for fun. Primo helping out the gamblers. So we got everybody a little something here. AJ, tell us what's going on next week on the pod, my friends.
So next week, when we were talking about this earlier, when I put next week on the podcast, I wrote podcast. I did. That was it. I was like, podcast next week. Heatwave 98 will be our drop pick discussion, which we've already talked about. Can't wait. We return to music class. We will have all your updates, news, birthdays, movie of the week, which you already know what it is. So no spoilers there. What else? What else we got next week?
Primo, let them know what we doing next week.
Well, next week, the pod, all three of us here, we will announce who our special guest. We've been talking about it for weeks now.
We have.
Finally, next week, we will announce to all you, the Marks Masses, who our special guest for our Christmas episode on December 22nd will be. And along with that, we are already lining up some cool stuff for Sit Down Marks in the 2022 year. Go tell a friend, like we said earlier, like I said earlier, these guys didn't say it. Tell your friend, tell your mama, tell your sister, tell your dog, tell your uncle, tell them all, and then tell them to go tell their people, because we need all of your support, and we will support you back. Thank you so much.
That's right.
Dogs can't listen to podcasts, Primo.
They can listen. They just
Dogs can't download podcasts.
Only hint that I'm going to give you for next week, whoever our guest is going to be, is the one that I've already gave you. I just said, I believe it was 2 pods ago, that she is one of the biggest independent professional wrestlers right now in the United States. So make sure you guys tune in next week to find out who that's going to be.
Yeah.
And excited to let you guys know. And we'll be dropping that episode on you December 22nd. So, all right, one last thing here I wanted to say. I wanted to once again say thank you to Logan from Iron Spirit Pro for everything he done for us this weekend. We appreciate it. I want to thank Zeke and Gage over at Zawa Live Wrestling for taking care of us. I want to thank the nice bartender at Moose Lodge. She was very nice to talk to.
She was awesome.
And just had a great time out there. And I want to thank Rabbi Jeremy Fine for taking the time to talk to us about Second Wrestling, which is getting kicked off this weekend in Northbrook, Illinois. If you're up there, go support these guys. They've already sold out their ringside, so all that's left is general admission. So get out there, support independent wrestling, and check out some good wrestling up that way. Happy holidays to everybody. We got a few pods left before Christmas. We'll see you guys soon. AJ, take us home.
Grab them cakes.